Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. The system is too pampering, and rewards are given in various ways. Chapter 21. Sister, have you ever heard of sword control? Ling Feng smiled lightly. Lang Ningxuang was stunned when she heard this. I've never heard of it, why are you saying this? Because. Ling Feng smiled slightly, then used all his strength to throw out the 7-star Longyuan in his hand, and the long sword broke through the air and stabbed straight towards Lang Ningxuang. When the other party came back to his senses, a slight smile appeared on his frosty face. Junior brother, you are so cute and innocent. She swayed and easily dodged the incoming sword. When the others saw this, they couldn't help but shake their heads. How is it possible to hit the condensation frost like this? Alas, I even lost my sword. Junior brother really has no chance of winning now. The winner of this sect competition is Lang Ningxuang. If Lang Ningxuang hadn't broken through the martial arts, junior brother could have won. Pity. Everyone felt a little sorry. Lang Ningxuang in the sky also raised his sword high to defeat Ling Feng. But at this time, she noticed something was wrong. Behind her, there was a whistling sound, and a sharp edge sent a chill down her spine. She turned around subconsciously, only to see Qixing Longyuan stabbing towards her. How can it be? Lang Ningxuang's expression changed. Hold the sword to block. Sonorous. She was knocked back several meters, but Qixing Longyuan refused to let go and continued to attack her without anyone holding her. This scene left everyone stunned. What's going on? Why does this sword move on its own? It is said that the magic weapon has a spirit, is it true? That's not right. Even if the magic weapon is alive, it's not like this, right? How can it attack on its own without anyone holding it? Is this weapon refined? This was the first time everyone saw this situation and couldn't believe it. Even the leader of White Cloud sect and others were stunned. No, look at junior brother. At this time, everyone saw that on the broken arena, Ling Feng was emitting true qi, and his sword finger was condensed, gesticulating in the void. Qixing Longyuan also made corresponding movements following his gestures. Either stab or chop or cut. Think again of what Ling Feng just said about sword control. A bold idea came to everyone's mind. I'll go, it's my junior brother who controls Qixing Longyuan again. Sword controlling, it turns out this is the so-called sword controlling technique. It's so amazing. It's simply unheard of. This is the real sword master's method. Too strong. The leader of White Cloud sect and others were also surprised. True Qi's external means of controlling objects. This is something that only Wu Zong can do. How can he, a martial master, do it? Is this the mystery of sword controlling skills he talks about? This kind of martial arts is really unbelievable. The White Cloud sect master and others are well informed. I know that martial artist is not incapable of wielding a sword. But at least you have to reach the Wuzong realm. Ling Feng is no more than a martial master, he is 2 realms behind Wu Zong. In the air, Lang Ningxuang waved the long sword in her hand, constantly resisting Qixing Longyuan. But Ling Feng's sword-wielding skills are too good. After dozens of rounds, she gradually couldn't hold on any longer. At this time, I saw a terrifying aura suddenly erupting from the 7 stars Longyuan. It actually made her feel like she was struck by lightning. That's sword power. Junior brother not only knows how to wield a sword, but also has sword skills. Whoosh! The long sword cuts through the air. It passed directly through the pair of ice crystal wings behind the frost. The wings are broken. Her body lost weight and fell straight to the ground. She couldn't help but exclaim. At this height, was she afraid that she would fall to her death? At this time, a figure quickly swept out. There was no violent collision as imagined. Lang Ningxuang only felt that she fell into a warm embrace. When she opened her eyes again, it was Ling Feng who caught her. The other person grinned, showing a sunny and cheerful smile. Sister, are you okay? Original. When Lang Ningxuang saw those female disciples who were crazy about Ling Feng, she just felt scornful. Aren't they just more handsome? Is it worth being so crazy? But now, Lang Ningxuang suddenly understood those female disciples. Junior brother, he is really handsome. A blush appeared on Lang Ningxuang's frosty face, and her heart palpitated. When Ling Feng saw that she was fine, he also let her go. Behavior and manners, polite and courteous. I didn't mean to take advantage at all. This makes Lang Lishuang even more excited. This junior brother is too gentle. Senior sister, do you want to continue fighting? No, no need, it's me who lost, and I am convinced that I lost. Lang Ningxuang said. After she finished speaking, everyone in the audience burst into cheers. Oh yeah, junior brother wins. Hey, have you noticed that Lang Ningxuang, who has always been as cold as ice, turned red just now? Does she like junior brother? What's the point? Junior brother is so good, what's wrong with liking him? Who doesn't like junior brother? He's just trying to support himself. As the leader of Ling Feng's support group, Jiyu Linglong looked at Lang Ningxuang, who was standing with Ling Feng, clenched her pink fists, and felt a little unhappy. I obviously met my junior brother first, but even I've never been hugged by my junior brother. Zhang Ruochen smiled at the side and said, but you have eaten the food cooked by junior brother. That's right. Thinking of this, Jiyu Linglong felt a little better. And this time, the leader of White Cloud sect also stood up from the stands and said with a smile, I announce that the first place in this sect competition is Piaomiao Peak, Ling Feng. When everyone heard this, the cheers became even more intense. Many people were chanting, Ling Feng, Ling Feng, Ling Feng, Ling Feng. The sound was as loud as rolling thunder. It is unimaginable that a disciple who has just started for more than a month can accumulate such a huge prestige in such a short period of time. It can be said to be incredible. Even the owner of White Cloud sect was extremely surprised. This boy will definitely be the mainstay of my White Cloud sect in the future. He sighed. Then, he walked towards Ling Feng, took out a token, and said, as usual, the first place in the sect competition can enter the White Cloud sect treasure house to get a treasure. This is the token to enter the treasure house. You can go anytime. Thank you, master. Ling Feng took the token with a smile. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully winning the first place in the sect competition and increasing his prestige. This sect competition has come to a successful conclusion. Closing square bracket. Congratulations to the host for getting a Qingluan egg. Qingluan, isn't this the legendary fairy beast? Ling Feng was surprised. This reward is not bad. He was already imagining how he would ride Qingluan and fly through the 9 heavens in the future. Haha, you are worthy of being my disciple, I say you can definitely do it. At this time, a laugh came. I saw Lu Rusi coming to the scene, looking at Ling Feng, who became the first in the sect competition with a smile on his face, stepped forward and patted him on the shoulder, and then looked at the White Cloud sect master and a group of elders, with a proud look on his face color. Look, this is my disciple from Piaomiao Peak. I wonder who will dare to say that my Piaomiao Peak has no one in the future. I am just such a disciple at Piaomiao Peak, and I still beat all of you to the ground. Lu Rusi said with joy. Several elders shook their heads, very helpless. This Lu Rusi is really lucky to have such a precious apprentice like Ling Feng. Hey, it would be great if Ling Feng was my apprentice. The sect competition ended, and Ling Feng successfully became the first in the competition. At this point, his prestige in White Cloud sect has increased to an incredible level. His fans are everywhere in White Cloud sect. It is worth mentioning that most of these fans are female disciples. In Ling Feng's opinion, these people were just coveting his body. Misty Peak. In order to celebrate Ling Feng becoming the first in the competition, Lu Rusi specially arranged a celebration banquet with countless delicacies and wine. Come, everyone, feel free to drink and eat with all your heart. You're welcome, just treat this place as your home. Lu Rusi held a wine bottle and took a big sip. At the banquet, Jiyu Linglong glanced at Lang Ningxuang. Why are you here? You can be here, why can't I? Lang Ningxuang said indifferently. The two people's eyes met, and there seemed to be invisible electric light flowing. Tisk, are these two jealous? Feng Xiaoyao laughed from the side. Zhang Ruochen glanced at him and said, speaking of which, as the great elder's disciple, why are you here to have a meal? If the great elder knows, won't he punish you? What are you afraid of? I'll just face the wall for a few days at most. Feng Xiaoyao didn't care at all. As the name suggests, he is free and uninhibited. A teacher is a teacher, and a disciple is a disciple. Although the great elder was hostile to Ling Feng, he was not. On the contrary, he was very optimistic about this junior who had won the first place in the sect competition at a young age. A feast. There are many participants. Everyone is full of praise for Ling Feng's cooking skills. After the guests and hosts had a good time, Zhang Ruochen and Feng Xiaoyao were assigned to wash the dishes, while Lang Ningxuang and Ji Yu Linglong approached Lu Rusi and started chatting. Ling Feng listened for a while. Most of the time, the two women were praising Lu Rusi. He said she knew how to take care of herself, and she was radiant and youthful forever. Hearing this, Lu Rusi smiled happily and became more and more satisfied as she watched the two women. Ling Feng rolled his eyes aside. Why are these two guys trying to please Master when they have nothing to do? Could it be that they want to steal Master from me? There was a hint of wariness in Ling Feng's eyes. But then I thought about it, and realized that both of them had already studied under Lu Rusi, and it was unlikely that they would switch to Lu Rusi's disciples, so I didn't think much about it. He took out a token and played with it for a while. I don't know if there are any good things in the treasure house of Dao Sect Gate. He thought rather expectantly. The next day, Ling Feng took the token and came to the sect's treasure house. This was an extremely magnificent palace, and the guard was an old man with white hair. Ling Feng took a look with his detection technique. He is a strong man in the Wuzong realm. Take out the token and give it to the other party before letting him in. Little guy, this treasure house contains various treasures, elixirs, weapons, secret books, etc. that White Cloud sect has collected over hundreds of years. You can take your time and choose. The old man looked at Ling Feng and smiled kindly. Yes. After Ling Feng entered, a burst of jewels shone. In front of him, various treasures exuded brilliant light. There are spiritual stones that contain powerful power, the secret skills of famous experts, and even several famous swords in famous sword manuals. The background of White Cloud sect is indeed extraordinary. Ling Feng turned on the art of detection and looked at them one by one. Suddenly, a jade tablet came into view. This jade tablet was engraved with mysterious runes and was filled with a faint golden light. It looked very extraordinary. What shocked Ling Feng even more was the information detected by the detection technique. Great Emperor Jade Tablet. This is a jade tablet that contains the inheritance of Emperor Wu. It can only be opened by the blood of martial Dao sacred body, otherwise it is just a jade tablet with a high cost. This item is precious, host please do not miss it. Closing square bracket. I go. The jade tablet containing the inheritance of Emperor Wu. Is this kind of thing something he can really encounter at will? This luck must be overwhelming. And only the blood of martial Dao sacred body can be opened. Isn't this properly prepared for him? Ling Feng swallowed and stepped forward to pick up the jade plaque. You are the one. After choosing the treasure, Ling Feng left the treasure pavilion and registered with the old man. The old man glanced at the jade tablet and said, "This jade tablet has been placed in the treasure pavilion for hundreds of years. Although it looks mysterious, no one has ever been able to decipher its secrets. Or maybe it is just an expensive jade tablet. That's it, little guy, there aren't many opportunities to enter the treasure pavilion, are you sure you want to choose it?" Yes. Well, okay, I hope you can figure out the secret. The old man stopped talking. Ling Feng took the jade token and returned to Piaomiao Peak. Night. He bit his fingertip and a drop of blood fell on the jade plaque. Suddenly, the entire jade tablet turned blood red. Then a torrent of information flooded into my mind. In a trance, he seemed to see a figure wearing a golden robe, standing tall and tall. The opponent's body exudes thousands of golden divine lights, with majestic chi and blood, true chi surges wildly, and the whole person is like a vast blazing sun. With one punch, mountains and rivers collapsed. Destined person. I am martial Dao sacred body, the great emperor of troubled times. To be able to open the jade card and inspire inheritance, you must be a martial Dao sacred body like me. My set of chaos fist based on the sacred body, how much you can understand it depends on your destiny. The golden robed figure, the great emperor of troubled times, said lightly. Then Ling Feng began to practice a set of extremely mysterious boxing techniques in his mind. Boom, boom. In an instant, Ling Feng felt countless thunder rolling in his mind. Ding. Closing square bracket. It is detected that the host is receiving the inheritance from Emperor Wu. Such luck is rare in the world. He is worthy of being a host. The host will be rewarded with transcendent level understanding. Closing square bracket. Transcendent level comprehension. As the name suggests, it is the talent that makes Ling Feng's comprehension skyrocket. As soon as this talent came out, Ling Feng felt that his mind became clear for a while, and the seemingly mysterious chaos fist became no longer obscure in his eyes. The entire set of boxing techniques was etched in his mind. Destined person, if we are destined, we will see you again in the immortal world. The great emperor of troubled times said calmly. Then the figure disappeared. Ling Feng slowly opened his eyes, and a flash of light flashed past. What a domineering chaos fist. If this boxing technique spreads, it will definitely cause competition among various forces. Ling Feng sighed. Then he thought of the words of the great emperor in troubled times. By fate, see you in the immortal world. So, is there really an immortal world? Thinking about it again, isn't his master the reincarnation of an immortal? Think of this. Ling Feng couldn't help but feel hot inside. It's decided, let's set a small goal first and become an immortal with martial arts. Soon, one night passed. The next day, Ling Feng got up early and started boxing, practicing chaos hegemony. Boom, boom, boom. As he waved his fists, bursts of roars came one after another in the void. The entire misty peak seemed to be trembling. Ling Feng stopped quickly. What a domineering punch. He did not dare to use true qi, but just practiced its moves. Even so, with the strength of his 1 elephant and 2 9 cows and 2 tigers, he still made the void continue to explode with sonic boom sounds. This movement made Lu Rusi, who was sleeping, I couldn't help but yawned and got up. It's so early in the morning, I can't let anyone sleep. She glanced at Ling Feng who was boxing, and then her eyes narrowed slightly. Oh, this punch is emperor level. Where did you get this kid? Master, did the sound of my boxing practice disturb you? Ling Feng saw Lu Rusi woke up, stopped and said. What do you think? Lu Rusi rolled his eyes, and then asked curiously, but your boxing skills are good, emperor level skills. I haven't heard that White Cloud sect has emperor level skills. Emperor level, are there levels of skills? Of course, the skills in the world are divided into 3 categories, and above the heaven level, there is the emperor level. The most powerful skill in White Cloud sect is earth rank. What is your great emperor level skill? Coming. I got it from the treasure house. Ling Feng briefly talked about his experience in the treasure house. I see, you still have this kind of luck. Tisk tisk, martial Tao sacred body also has luck, good disciple, who will ascension if you don't ascension in the future. Well, I'll try my best. Ling Feng scratched his head. After practicing boxing, he went to make breakfast. While eating, he asked out of curiosity. Master, the chaotic times fist is an emperor level technique, so what level is the Piaomiao Wushwang sword code you passed on to me? Above the emperor level. Ah, it's so powerful, but why didn't I feel it? That's because you haven't exerted the true power of this skill yet. The Miao Miao Wushwang sword code focuses on one word, and that is, enlightenment. Only when you realize it, the power of this skill will gradually appear. Lu Rusi said lightly. Really, I'll try my best. Oh, this is not something you can do just by trying your best. I think it took me 10 years to understand this technique. As for you, although you have a martial Tao sacred body and a transparent sword heart, your understanding is not as good as you definitely have to be a little bit worse to become a teacher, it will take at least 20 years. Lu Rusi said. Yeah, Ling Feng smiled slightly. He thought about the talent he had just acquired. Transcendent level comprehension. After dinner, he returned to his own direction and began to practice the Piaomiao Wushwang sword code. As true qi circulated in his body, he continued to understand the secrets of the sword canon. Gradually, a silver-white sword shadow gradually appeared in his mind. The sword shadow was a bit illusory. Like clouds in the sky, elusive, unpredictable and ever-changing. A strange sword force surrounded Ling Feng. Gradually, the power of the sword became stronger and stronger, gradually spreading. The 7-star Longyuan next to him was the first to be affected, buzzing and trembling. In another room, Lu Rusi, who was taking a lunch break, suddenly opened his eyes. No, it can't be right. Did this kid really realize it? The sword power continued to spread, gradually spreading from Piaomiao Peak to the entire White Cloud sect. The swords of some disciples were shaking uncontrollably. For a while, thousands of swords roared together. This mysterious vision immediately surprised the White Cloud sect master and others. This is Junior Sister's Piamiao Wushwang Sword Manual. When my junior sister was practicing, I had this kind of vision. Now this vision appears again. Is my junior sister from back then coming back? Lu Rusi, you are unwilling to fall after all. Some elders had excited eyes. In fact, they have complained about Lu Rusi over the years. In addition to the other party's self-degradation and humiliation of the family tradition, it is more of a hatred of iron than steel. After all, they all know how amazing and talented Lu Rusi was back then. If the other party hadn't fallen, the current White Cloud sect has definitely become the #1 sect in Great Zhou. Many people rushed to Piamiao Peak. But I saw Lu Rusi holding a wine flask and pouring wine in broad daylight. Everyone who had been looking forward to it was suddenly disappointed. Depend on. Is this still the same virtue? Hey, senior brother, I knew you would come, but let me explain first that this vision has nothing to do with me, it was caused by my good disciple. Xiao Feng, what's wrong with him? He has understood my Piamiao Wushwang sword code. Hiss, didn't you say that your sword cannon can't be practiced by ordinary people? Even if you can practice it, it will be difficult to understand the true secret of it. Is my good disciple immortal? Lu Rusi smiled. The elders thought about it and felt that this was the truth. They looked toward the house with anticipation in their eyes. Xiao Feng's qualifications are very terrifying. It is by no means as simple as martial Dao's sacred body. White Cloud sect will rely on him in the future. Yes, I can't count on his master anyway, I can only count on him. Lu Rusi rolled his eyes beside him. Then he waved his hand. Let's go, don't be an eyesore here. If you disturb my good disciple's practice, I won't forgive you. The crowd no longer stayed long. After a few hours passed, Ling Feng wakes up from the state of enlightenment. At this time, his sword energy was extremely pure, more than 10 times more than before, and his cultivation level had also been upgraded from the 1st level of Martial Master to the 9th level of Martial Master. There is only a small step away from the martial spirit realm. In one day, we entered the country like this. I don't know how many people will be frightened if word spreads. Get out of the house. It was already dark by this time. The bright moonlight shines on the purple bamboo forest. In the forest, Lu Rusi is holding a wine bottle and drinking alone to the moon. The wine slips from the corners of her lips, across her cheeks like white jade, and slides into her long and white neck. Deep peaks and mountains. Lu Rusi smiled slightly when he noticed that Ling Feng was out of seclusion. He threw the wine bottle in his hand. Ling Feng took it and drank a few sips. My dear disciple, how powerful is the Piamiao Wushwang sword code? Do you think it is no worse than the Chaos Fist? Lu Rusi said with a smile. Well, it is indeed very strong. It is indeed a technique created by Master. The power of this technique can continue to increase until it completely surpasses the shackles of the Emperor-level technique. But you have to know that the powerful path of martial Dao is never the secrets of techniques, magic weapons, or peerless elixirs. These things are all created by humans. So the strongest ones are always humans. You have good qualifications. You have a martial Dao sacred body, a clear sword heart, and you practice Emperor-level techniques. It won't take you a few years to rise, but you must not be arrogant and complacent. You need to always maintain a firm mind for seeking the truth. Heart. Lu Rusi said slowly. Then, she felt that her words were not strong enough, so she walked slowly in front of Ling Feng, and with every step she took, a ray of aura gradually emitted from her body. The aura is getting stronger and stronger. When she walked in front of Ling Feng already felt that the person standing in front of her was not Lu Rusi, but an insurmountable and vast sacred mountain. In a trance, he seemed to see an ancient and vast desert appearing behind Lu Rusi. This desert was filled with swords. Épée, dagger, rapier, you name it. The desolate desert seems to be a cemetery of swords. And Lu Rusi is the one who buried these countless swords. I go. Is Master already so powerful that people can have hallucinations? A thin layer of cold sweat broke out on Ling Feng's forehead. But Lu Rusi's momentum went away just as quickly as it came. It dissipated all of a sudden. Ling Feng was relieved. Lu Rusi patted his shoulder and smiled. What you just saw is just the tip of the iceberg of my master's strength. So, work hard. When you feel that you are too strong and invincible, think about it. Be a teacher. I understand, Master. Ling Feng nodded. In his mind, he set another goal. That is, surpass Lu Rusi. Time flies, and it's 2 spring and autumn years. It has been 2 years since Ling Feng joined White Cloud Sect. In these 2 years, he rarely went out and stayed in White Cloud Sect to practice. His own talent is astonishing, and the rewards from the system keep coming. Give money, give spiritual stones, give cultivation. This made his strength improve by leaps and bounds. To this day, he has reached the realm of King Wu. At the end of the sect competition, he was still the martial master. In 2 years, he directly passed the martial spirit and martial sect, and directly entered the martial king realm. With this strength, in the White Cloud Sect, almost no one is his opponent except Lu Rusi, but he has always kept a low profile and has not shown his strength. But no matter how low-key he is, he can't hide his own light. In the past 2 years, although he has lived in seclusion, for some reason, there have been more and more rumors about him in the White Cloud Sect. There are even many disciples who hang around Piaomiao Peak all day long, just to be able to see him. This makes Ling Feng quite distressed. Every time you step out of here, you will be surrounded. Can you not be distressed? Well, people are afraid of being famous and pigs are afraid of being strong. It's true. That's right, that's right. On Ling Feng's shoulder, a cyan, palm-sized bird said. This bird looks a bit like a sparrow, but its eyes are glowing with a faint golden light. If you look closely, you can see that it is a bit mysterious. This is exactly the reward Ling Feng received during the sect competition. Qingluan, after he hatched it 2 years ago, he has been taking good care of it, hoping that it will grow up quickly so that he can fly with him for 9 days. But now, he can fly by himself. This Qingluan ate a lot, but it still looked like a sparrow. There is nothing special about him except that he can talk. According to the system, Qingluan's growth requires a huge amount of energy. The current Qingluan is not even in its infancy, which is why it is so weak. Ling Feng didn't mind it at all, just treated it as a pet. Usually it would fly around on his head when nothing happened, and when it was tired, it would rest on his shoulder. Junior brother, I'm here again. Noon, Ji Yu Linglong came to Piaomiao Peak to have a meal. Ling Feng was not surprised by her arrival. In the past 2 years, the other party has come to have a meal frequently. The same goes for Zhang Ruochen, Feng Xiaoyao, and Lang Ningxuang. Ling Feng, Lu Rusi has long been used to it. Because of them, the originally deserted Piaomiao Peak became a little lively. During the meal, Ji Yu Linglong ate and picked up vegetables. Although she is not usually very reserved. But this time, it was more obvious. I have to eat more. I won't be able to come during this time. Ji Yu Linglong said while eating. Ling Feng asked curiously, Sister, what are you going to do? Well, I have to go down the mountain to do a task. This task is quite difficult. It will probably take 10 days and a half. Ji Yu Linglong said. Is it dangerous? It's not very dangerous, and I'm not the only one. Lang Ningxuang is going too, Ji Yu Linglong said. Ling Feng was a little surprised. Are you with senior sister Lang? According to his observations in the past 2 years, although Ji Yu Linglong and Lang Ningxuang did not have any deep hatred, they did not give each other a good look when they met. Like a pair of enemies. Why are we so close now that we have to go on a mission together? HMPH, I didn't want to call her at first, but I have no choice. This mission is not easy. I have to find a helper. Compared to others, Lang Ningxuang is indeed much better than others, and he also knows everything. Certainly, the most important thing is that after he leaves, won't Lang Ningxuang have a lot of opportunities to be alone with his junior brother? This kind of thing is absolutely not allowed. We must drag the other party away together. Let's do the mission. How about I go find a mission to do as well? Ling Feng rubbed his chin and murmured. What, junior brother, do you want to go down the mountain? Ji Yu Linglong was shocked. In this case, then junior brother, why don't you come with us? At this time, a man walked into the house. But it's condensation frost. The other party is also here to have a meal. When Ji Yu Linglong saw her coming, she curled her lips at first, but then her eyes lit up and she said, Yes, junior brother, let's do the mission together. After hearing what the two women said, Ling Feng felt that it was not impossible. After all, I have been at Piaomiao Peak for 2 years. It's time to venture down the mountain. Let me ask Master for instructions. It's such a small thing, you still need to ask for permission. If you want to go out to play, you can go out. Just remember to bring me 2 bottles of good wine when you come back. Lu Rusi's voice came from her room. The door opens. Lu Rusi came out early in the morning with his face flushed from drinking. He sat down next to Ji Yu Linglong without any politeness at all, and started eating too. While eating and drinking, he said, "You have achieved something. If you continue to stay here at Piaomiao Peak, it will be difficult to make progress. Go out and wander around. It's also a good thing." "Yes, Master." Ling Feng nodded, looking forward to it. The next day, he tidied up casually and said goodbye to Lu Rusi. Watching his leaving figure, Lu Rusi took a sip of wine, and then looked at the neatly tidied room and kitchen. As if thinking of something, she suddenly slapped her head. "Oh, what a mistake. Good disciple, my son is gone, who will pack my things, wash and cook for me from now on." The rest is pretty easy to say. In the past 2 years, her mouth has been completely spoiled by Ling Feng. This was not the other party's cooking, and she really couldn't get used to it. Leave Piaomiao Peak. Ling Feng walked towards the agreed location, the Gate of Azure Cloud Sect. Along the way, many people saw him and asked questions. "It's junior brother. Good morning, junior brother." "Woohoo, I see my junior brother again." Junior brother is still as handsome and charming as ever. "It's so beautiful, so handsome." "Junior brother, what are you going to do?" Many people were talking about it. Ling Feng has long been accustomed to this situation. With a warm smile on his face, he was able to cope with it easily. In front of Qingyan Mountain, Lang Ningxuang and Ji Yu Linglong have been waiting for Ling Feng's arrival for a long time. It's almost the appointed time, but they haven't seen Ling Feng yet. At this time, the junior disciples' shouts came from not far away. They looked. I saw Ling Feng walking over surrounded by many people, his hands full of various things, including eggs, dry food, clothes, etc. "Junior brother, when you go down the mountain, you must be careful not to be deceived by others. The people at the foot of the mountain are all bad." "That's right, especially the women at the foot of the mountain are the best at lying." Ling Feng held a lot of things and nodded to everyone. When they walked to Lang Ningxuang and Ji Yu Linglong, they breathed a sigh of relief. The two women looked at each other and twitched the corners of their mouths. "Junior brother, what are you?" "Oh, this is everyone's wish. After they heard that I was going down the mountain, they sent me a lot of things. It's too late for me to refuse." Ling Feng said helplessly. While explaining, he put things into the storage ring. "Dry food, clothes, oh, they even cost silver. Junior brother's charm is really getting bigger and bigger." Ji Yu Linglong sighed with emotion. 2 years have passed, and Ling Feng's infinite charm and talent have become more and more powerful. Now, wherever he goes, he will become the focus of attention. This is why he has been living in seclusion for the past 2 years. But the reason why he is still extremely popular in the sect. Ding! It detects that the host is about to go down the mountain to experience, and has the courage to step out of the comfort zone and take risks. Well done to the host. Closing square bracket. The system rewards the host 10 million taels. Closing square bracket. Sister, what is our mission this time? On the way, Ling Feng asked curiously. Go to Yancheng and kill someone. Who? Number 71 on the list of evildoers in the Great Zhou dynasty. He picks flowers and steals them. The flowers are fragrant. Ji Yu Linglong said lightly, with a hint of disgust in her eyes. The Dazhou villain list is a list officially released by Dazhou. Every villain on it is a wanted criminal with a reward of more than 100,000 yuan. Some people even offer a reward exceeding 10 million. If you catch one at random, you will have enough food and clothing for the rest of your life. It's just that these people can be on the list, and with such a high reward, they naturally have the ability. It is not easy to apprehend them. I don't know how many knife hunters fell into their hands. Hua Lushang, whose cultivation is in the realm of martial arts, has a reward of 200,000 taels. This man is a romantic man, and he has harmed many innocent women. This time I heard that he is in Yancheng, and Yancheng is my White Cloud sect, he must be punished on the spot. Ji Yu Linglong said coldly. Lang Ningxuang also had cold eyes on the side. As women, they naturally hate this kind of flower-picking thieves. I understand, and I will do my best to assist the two senior sisters. Ling Feng nodded. Soon, 3 days later, the three of them came to Yancheng. Yancheng is one of the largest cities in White Cloud sect. It is naturally lively and prosperous, with people and traffic on the streets. Some people gathered in the tea house and talked a lot. Last night Miss Zhang was kidnapped by the loot thief Hua Lushang. She was found lying disheveled at the door of her house early this morning. Miss Zhang couldn't bear the humiliation. Just now she hanged herself at home. This Hua Lushang really deserves death. That's it, don't let me catch him, otherwise he will be killed. Everyone was furious. Lang Ningxuang and Ji Yu Linglong also heard these rumors after entering the city. Their faces were ashen and they had a cold murderous aura on their bodies. I was a little late and allowed this perverted thief to commit another murder. Ling Feng was also a little angry. Let's go find the city lord first. Ji Yu Linglong said. The three of them went to the city lord's mansion. On the road, many pedestrians turned back to look. Ling Feng was not surprised. Ji Yu Linglong and Lang Ningxuang are both rare beauties. Their clothes and temperament are both good. They naturally turn heads when walking on the road. But then, he noticed something was wrong. Look, what kind of young master is this young man? His appearance is too iconic, and his temperament, my dear, is incredible. Could it be that a fairy boy from heaven has descended to earth? It's really rare. It's really rare. It's so beautiful. I wish I could marry him. Woo-woo, this is the first time I have seen such a good-looking young man. Why did you let me meet him, but I couldn't marry him? Wouldn't it make me regret for the rest of my life? Woo-woo, God, you are so cruel. For a long time, I thought I only liked women, but now it seems that even men are not impossible. Some chatter around him reached his ears. The corner of Ling Feng's mouth twitched. Good guy, leave the two beauties alone and not look at them. Are you here discussing me, an old man? Forget about women. And those guys, what are you talking about? Ling Feng shook his head helplessly. But Ji Yu Linglong and Lang Ningxuang were not surprised by this. After all, in Azure Cloud sect, Ling Feng is the center of attention wherever he goes, even among the well-informed disciples of Azure Cloud sect who are used to seeing handsome men and beautiful women. Not to mention these ordinary people. Junior brother's charm is really getting bigger and bigger. It will take another 2 years for him to fully bloom. Isn't he really going to become an immortal? Tisk, I often hear those poets say that the beauties of any dynasty have captivated the country and the city. In my opinion, Junior brother is the one who truly captivated the country and the city. The two women sighed in low voices. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Ling Feng and the other two arrived at the door of the city lord's mansion. The city lord had already known about their arrival. The other party came out to greet him in person. You are all here. If you don't come here, my Yan city will be completely harmed by the Huoliushang. The lord of Yan city said with a bitter smile. Don't worry, city lord, since we are here, we will not let Huoliushang do evil, and we will definitely find a way to bring him to justice. Ji Yu Linglong said solemnly. The three of them entered the city lord's mansion and found that besides them, there was a man in black also in the lobby. The man's black clothes had a tiger with wings embroidered on it. There is also a tiger head knife on his waist. Dazhou Feihu Division. Ji Yu Linglong's eyes narrowed. Feihu Division, a department specially formed by Dazhou to deal with martial artists. I'm Feihu Division, Wang Long. It was I who sent people to ask White Cloud sect for assistance. Please give me your advice. Wang Long said with cupped hands. Wang Kaptu, don't be polite. This Yancheng is also my White Cloud sect territory. That Hua Lushang is making trouble here, she is really seeking death. Ji Yu Linglong said, and then exchanged information with Wang Long. It has been more than 7 days since I learned that Hua Lushang was causing trouble in Yancheng. But there are no fewer than 10 women who have caused harm. This Hua Lushang, I have met him face to face. He is not very old, probably in his early 20s, but his cultivation has reached the martial spirit realm, which is indeed extraordinary. The most important thing is that he has a movement technique that is at least earth rank. Come on, he disappears without a trace, and it is rare to catch him in the same territory. Wang Long said helplessly. He is also at the top of the martial arts realm, but he has never even touched the corner of Walushang's clothes, which shows how superb the opponent's movement skills are. Well, we know, but the problem is, Yancheng is so big, how can we lure him out? Ji Yu Linglong said. We have sent people to set up defenses at the homes of all the waiting girls in the city. Once he appears, a signal will be sent. This is too inefficient. Yancheng is so big, and there are so many girls waiting to be married. It will be harder to catch him with such a scattered manpower. I have a way. Ji Yu Linglong smiled slightly. Girl, please speak up. Walushang prides herself on being romantic, and the women she likes are all stunningly beautiful. If we introduce a woman who is the most beautiful in the world, then Walushang will definitely be moved. Instead of being passive defensive, it is better to take the initiative to attract he comes out. This is indeed a solution, but where can we find a most beautiful woman? Wang Long asked with a frown. With all due respect, I think these two girls are as beautiful as celestial immortal. If you are willing to condescend, you might be able to bring out the fragrance of flowers. At this time, City Lord Yan said. No, at this time, Ling Feng was unhappy. This is too dangerous. What should I do if something goes wrong with senior sister? Thank you for your concern, junior brother. Ji Yu Linglong smiled slightly, and then said righteously, no matter which woman is asked to do this task, there are risks. Instead of doing this, it is better for me to bear the risk myself. Hearing this, Ling Feng couldn't help but look at Ji Yu Linglong with admiration. As expected of my senior sister, she is indeed a chivalrous person. The corners of Ji Yu Linglong's mouth raised even more. Lang Ningxuang on the side saw this and her heart skipped a beat. How dare you, Ji Yu Linglong, to use this method to win the favor of your junior brother? Not to be outdone, she stood up and said, Junior sister, how can I let you take on such a dangerous matter? I am senior sister, let me do it. No, let me do it. I'll do it. Seeing the two women vying to be the bait, everyone present couldn't help but marvel. What two chivalrous and courageous heroines. It is said that apart from Elder Lu Rusi, who is self-destructive and addicted to drinking and gambling, the other disciples and elders of White Cloud sect are all chivalrous and courageous. When we meet today, they are indeed worthy of their reputation. Wang Long said with emotion. Upon hearing his words, the two women stopped and gave him a strange look. Look at Ling Feng on the side. The other person still had a faint smile on his face and was not angry. Wang Long didn't know that he had said the wrong thing and continued. In fact, I think that between the two girls, I have a high degree of confidence in who will be the bait. However, this operation must hit the target with one hit, so the bait must be chosen carefully. Choice. I think this little brother is more suitable to be the bait than the two girls. He stared at Ling Feng with a strange look in his eyes. When the two women heard this, they couldn't help but blink. Do you want to listen to what you are saying? Use as bait to attract flower thieves. Are you letting a man go? Ha, I know what you are thinking, but I, Wang, have met countless people and have never seen anyone wrong. This little brother has a superb temperament. If he dresses up a little, he will definitely be the most beautiful. He can definitely attract those. While Lushang showed up. Little brother, you don't want your two senior sisters to be in danger, right? Ling Feng's mouth twitched when he heard his words. Good guy. Does the other party want him to dress as a woman? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. But looking at the two senior sisters next to him, he was a little worried about letting them take risks. Moreover, at this time, the two senior sisters were looking at him expectantly. What are you looking forward to? Junior brother, how about you give it a try? Ji Yu Linglong asked tentatively, her eyes shining. Let your junior brother dress up as a woman. This kind of thing is exciting just thinking about it. It seemed like something weird had awakened inside her. Sir, for the sake of the tens of millions of innocent girls in Yancheng, please take action with justice. The Lord of Yancheng said solemnly. On behalf of the Imperial Court and the Flying Tigers Division, I would also like to ask the young master. Wang Long cupped his hands and said. Ling Feng took a deep breath and said, then give it a try. Young master understands the righteousness. You are worthy of being a disciple of White Cloud sect. By the way, I wonder which elder of White Cloud sect the young master studied under. Oh, That's Elder Lu Rusi, the self-depraved, alcoholic and gambler mentioned by the catcher just now. Ling Feng said calmly. What? Wang Long was stunned for a moment, and then said quickly, it seems that the world has misunderstood Elder Lu too deeply. To be able to teach the young master such a profound understanding of righteousness, Elder Lu must also be a fairy with a gentle breeze and a clear moon, a chivalrous and courageous fairy. He. Ling Feng smiled and said nothing. The next day, the brothel in Yancheng suddenly sent out a message. It was announced that the top 10 brothels would be united to select an Oran. This matter spread, and countless talented people immediately talked about it. For a time, the entire Yan city, streets and alleys were discussing this matter. That night, on a huge flower boat in Yancheng, famous prostitutes from various brothels gathered. Everyone competed for beauty, performed their talents, and wanted to win the title of courtesan. For these famous prostitutes in brothels, the title of Oran means a steady stream of money. On the flower boat, many dignitaries and talented people were also there. Looking at the famous brothel prostitutes appearing on the stage one by one, everyone commented and chose the courtesan in their mind. I think Iris, the girl from 100 Flowers Tower, is the most touching. Not only is she beautiful, but she is also a master of piano music. I think the Hongdan girl from Kunfang Pavilion is the best. Tisk tisk, her appearance and figure are simply amazing, and she can also recite poems and compose poems. No, Lu Ji from Hongfenlu is the best. Everyone was talking about it. And at this time, above the stands, flower petals were flying. A figure descended from the sky. This woman is dressed in white, with a layer of gauze on her face, a pair of phoenix eyes looking at her appearance, and her aura is even more transcendent. Under the moonlight, it looks like a moon fairy descending into the world. After landing in the stands, the woman held 2 swords and began to dance. There are many sword shadows, and there is a bit of softness in the masculinity. It's like a group of emperors soaring like a dragon, and it's like the clear light of the river and the sea. Everyone in the audience couldn't help but be fascinated by it. Here, which brothel is this girl from? Oh my god, so beautiful. Is this the moon fairy coming to earth? It's so beautiful. Everyone looked at the woman dancing the sword on the stage with wild eyes. Just perform a sword dance. The woman saluted everyone in the audience. At this time, an old bustard walked onto the stage and smiled at everyone. Everyone, let me introduce to you. This is Ling Shuang, the new girl from Kunfang Pavilion. He has just made his debut. I ask for your support in the future. Sure, why is Miss Ling Shuang wearing a veil? Yes, is there some hidden disease? Ling Shuang hesitated. Then slowly take off the veil. Suddenly, a shocking face appeared in front of everyone. The lips are like vermilion, and the face is like peaches and plums. Between the eyebrows, there is a bit of aloof and sassy air. I don't know how much higher than ordinary brothel prostitutes are. Ling Shuang quickly put the veil back on. But everyone has been unable to forget it for a long time. Needless to say, the Oran of this year must be Miss Ling Shuang. That's right, Miss Ling Shuang is a god. Don't compete with me, Miss Ling Shuang is mine. The madam said that Miss Ling Shuang has just made her debut, which means that she is probably still a virgin. This is really great. Haha, no matter what, this young master is going to bet on Miss Ling Shuang. For a moment, everyone present went a little crazy. Under the stage, Ji Yulinglong and Lang Ningshuang, who were pretending to be men, looked at the people around them, looked at each other, and couldn't help but marvel. This effect is so amazing. Tisk tisk, you are worthy of being a junior brother. By the way, junior brother, where did you learn this sword dance? It's so pretty. Haha, junior brother is a prodigy in swordsmanship, so what's the difficulty in arranging a sword dance on the spot? Tisk, if junior brother is really a woman, I will be moved too. It turns out there is a kind of beauty that cannot be differentiated between male and female. With no doubt, the title of Oran falls on Ling Shuang. The next day, Ling Shuang became famous overnight with her sword dance. The whole town knows. Many people go to Kunfang Pavilion just to have a glimpse of its beauty. In the crowd, a young man in a green robe glanced at Ling Shuang dancing on the stage, with a strong possessive look in his eyes. Yancheng Warren is well deserved. It's decided, the next target is you. This man is none other than Walushang. He had to admit that even though he had seen all the beauties in the world, when he saw Ling Shuang, he still couldn't help but feel crazy. Compared to this courtesan, the ones I played before were all vulgar. Ling Shuang, I'm going to bet on you. No, it's more than that. I want to keep you by my side forever and be my woman for the rest of my life. Hua Lushang thought passionately. That night, he took action. With his superb movement skills, he came and went like a ghost in the night, and soon arrived at Quanfang Pavilion and sneaked into Ling Shuang's room. Looking at the hazy figure in the gauze tent, Hua Lushang couldn't help but swallow her saliva. Beauty, I'm here. Beauty, here I come. Looking at the hazy figure in the gauze tent, Hua Lushang had a salivating smile on his face, but when he walked into the gauze tent, he discovered something was wrong. Ling Shuang inside the gauze tent was not at all frightened when she saw his arrival. On the contrary, he looked at him with an indifferent expression. I saw the other party take out a portrait from his arms and compare it with him. Well, Hannah Lushang, you have been arrested. You have the right to remain silent now, but everything you say will become evidence in court. Ling Shuang, also known as Ling Feng, said lightly, wearing a white dress and a beautiful face. But the words that came out were those of a man. This made Hua Lushang look stunned. He reacted suddenly. No, this is a trap. Say nothing. He was about to escape immediately, using his body skills to rush towards the window. But he saw the beautiful Ling Shuang holding up her skirt, taking a step forward, faster than him, and rushed in front of him in the blink of an eye. He grabbed him by the collar and slammed him toward the ground. Boom! The floor exploded. Hua Lushang's face was directly scratched by the broken floor, and her face was covered with blood. He was extremely frightened. What happened? He is the top martial spirit. Was he actually subdued by one move? Are you kidding me? Whizzing. Several figures immediately rushed out from outside. Junior brother, are you okay? The bold and lewd thief will be captured without any effort. It was Ji Yu Linglong, Lang Ning Shuang, and Wang Long. When they rushed in and saw Hua Lushang being subdued, they were stunned for a moment. They didn't expect that the other party would be so vulnerable in front of Ling Feng. They have absolutely no chance to take action. After Ji Yu Linglong and the two girls glanced at Hua Lushang, who was almost unconscious on the ground, they trotted up to Ling Feng. Junior brother, this pervert didn't do anything to you, right? Ling Feng felt a little strange when he heard this. He shook his head. I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Ling, for subduing this man. Leave the rest to us. Wang Long said, knowing that Hannah Lushang was very skilled in body movement. Just in case, he pulled out his knife and slashed the opponent's feet twice, cutting off the opponent's hamstrings. We should be more cruel when dealing with such vicious criminals. I wonder what Wang Kaptu plans to do with this person. Ji Yu Linglong asked, with a cold look in her eyes. According to her idea, of course she would kill the opponent on the spot. Wang Long thought for a while and said, this man has committed a heinous crime and has harmed countless people in Yancheng. I plan to behead him in public display. Firstly, it will shock everyone, protect the face of the court, and secondly, it will appease the people. Good. Ji Yu Linglong also thought this was a good idea. Then Wang Long took Hua Lushang away. The flower-picking thief was arrested, and Ling Feng could naturally resume her men's clothing. However, the madam of Quanfang Pavilion couldn't help but feel a little regretful when she saw the unparalleled beauty Ling Shuang transformed into the dashing Ling Feng. Oh, it would be great if it was really a woman. Ling Feng glared at the other party. The other party quickly shut up. Old madam, please remember this. If you dare to publicize this matter, I will raise your group of pavilions to the ground. Ling Feng said fiercely. He is a manly man, yet he is dressed as a woman. When word spread about this, Ling Feng felt that he would lose face in public. Yes. The old bastard was not stupid either. He knew that Ling Feng could not afford to offend him, so he nodded quickly. Ding! The host successfully caught the flower picker and stole the flower Lushang, which eliminated a major problem for Yancheng and received a reward, hundreds of fire and thunder beads. Closing square bracket. Fiery fire and thunder beads. As soon as you hear this name, you will know that it is something special. System, what's the use of this thing? The fiery thunder bead is a powerful mechanical creation, which contains special gunpowder and true qi. Once triggered, it can explode with extremely terrifying power, no less than a full blow from the top martial king. Closing square bracket. No less than a powerful blow from King Wu. Good guy. This thing, it seems useless. After all, he is now the king of martial arts. Coupled with the martial Tao sacred body, a casual blow by me is comparable to the full blow of an ordinary martial king. If you are a little serious, even the top martial king can probably blow it up. Well, although it's of no use to me, it would be good if I could defend myself against senior sister and the others, and, wouldn't 100 fire and thunder be equivalent to a full blow from 100 top martial arts kings? Thinking about it this way, this reward is pretty good. A satisfied smile appeared on Ling Feng's lips. Shortly after, the news of the arrest of Lu Shang for picking flowers and stealing them spread throughout Yancheng. For a while, the people of Yancheng were all excited. Everyone was waiting for this day. Some of the victims' families even cried with joy. Great, great, I heard that Miss Ling Shuang caught this flower-picking thief. Miss Ling Shuang, you actually have such ability. I heard that Miss Ling Shuang is not an Oran. She is a chivalrous girl from White Cloud sect. She came to Yancheng specifically to capture this Lu Shang. She pretended to be an Oran in order to lure him into taking the bait. Oh, she is really chivalrous. Quote, she's a beautiful person with a kind heart. I'm talking about Miss Ling Shuang, right? Wow, Miss Ling Shuang will be my goddess for the rest of my life from now on. Ling Shuang became popular again. But when Ling Feng heard these rumors, he couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. Don't remember Ling Shuang, forget about it. But something even more unexpected happened to him. On this day, a large group of people came to the door of Yancheng City Lord's mansion. The leaders of the group also held a banner in their hands. It clearly says, White Clouds and Frost, Heroine. We are here to thank Miss Ling Shuang and invite Miss Ling Shuang to see us. Ji Yu Linglong and Lang Ning Shuang glanced at Ling Feng playfully. The city lord also glanced at Ling Feng with some embarrassment. Hey, this man looks a bit familiar. At this time someone noticed Ling Feng. No way, the other party attracted too much attention in the crowd. The refined temperament and charm of Transcendent cannot be concealed at all. The man frowned, and then exclaimed, I remembered who he looked like. It's Miss Ling Shuang. He looks a bit like Miss Ling Shuang. Could it be that? Ling Feng's heart skipped a beat. Not good. It's about to be exposed. Is my whole life's reputation going to be ruined here? Is he the younger brother of Miss Ling Shuang? It must be. This person has a very similar temperament to Miss Ling Shuang. Both of these siblings are gifted by nature. It's so rare. No one thinks that Ling Feng and Ling Shuang are the same person. After all, there is one male and one female. How could it be the same person? They regarded Ling Feng as Ling Shuang's younger brother. Young master, do you know if your sister is here? Sorry, my sister has gone back to White Cloud sect. Ling Feng ignored the mistake and said calmly. You're leaving in such a hurry. The man said regretfully. I understand. Miss Ling Shuang must have left first because she didn't want to trouble us to pay her a special reward. What a chivalrous woman who does good deeds without expecting anything in return. Miss Ling Shuang, you are truly a role model for our generation. Someone suddenly realized it, and a look of admiration suddenly appeared on their face. One person handed the banner to Ling Feng and said, Mr. Ling, your sister has a clear breeze and a clear moon. Her informality and chivalrous heart can be seen from the sun and the moon. We know that no amount of words can express our respect and gratitude to her, but this banner is a little bit of our thoughts, and I ask you to pass it on to me. Ling Feng looked at the banner in his hand and the grateful people in front of him. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly and he said, I will try my best to give it to her. He no longer wanted to explain this wonderful misunderstanding. After delivering the banners, the people left with satisfaction. Ji Yu Linglong and Lang Ning Shuang were snickering on the sidelines. Qingluan was flying above Ling Feng's head, chirping, and suddenly as if he had discovered something, Qingluan landed on Ling Feng's shoulder. Someone is coming. Someone is coming. Ling Feng looked in the direction indicated by Qingluan. They only saw a man in white walking towards them. He had narrow eyebrows and a cold look on his body. He looked like he was coming with bad intentions. There is also a token hanging on the opponent's waist. It says, Zan Shen, people from the Zan Shen sect. Seeing the person coming, Ji Linglong's eyes narrowed. In Dajo, there are many martial Dao sects, and these sects are divided into top sects, first-rate sects, second-rate sects, and third-rate sects. White Cloud sect is a first-class sect that is close to the top sects. In Great Zhou, there were only 4 top sects. They are Tianwu Gate, Earth Dragon Palace, Zanshen sect, and Huangji Palace. How come Zanshen sect, one of the 4 top sects, has disciples coming to Yancheng? Ji Linglong was quite puzzled. But the young man walked up to a few people and said calmly, I am Li Qian, an inner disciple of the Zanshen sect. I am here today for one reason only. Please, everyone, release the fragrance of flowers. As soon as these words came out, several people's faces looked a little ugly. They worked so hard to catch each other. How could it be possible to just let it go? Hua Lushang has done many evil things. He is a wanted criminal by the imperial court. He will be beheaded in Yancheng in the near future. How can we just let him go? Wang Long said with an indifferent expression. Hua Lushang was officially accepted as a true disciple by our Zanshen sect a month ago. The wanted order for him will be revoked soon. You are the head catcher of Feihu Division. You will receive the news as soon as tomorrow. At that time, I want to see Hua Lushang standing in front of me intact, otherwise, I will not be the one to inform you. Li Qian said indifferently, then turned and left. His words made several people frown. Hua Lushang actually has such a background. Speaking of which, Hua Lushang has advanced to the top martial arts realm at a young age. She is indeed a rare cultivation genius. It is not impossible that she will be favored by the Zanshen sect. Now she is in trouble. Wang Long said with a solemn expression. In this world, martial Dao is respected. Fists are more important than imperial power. The 4 top sects are behemoths that even the imperial court dare not easily provoke. With this relationship, Hua Lushang will probably be difficult to kill. But when I think of those young girls who were killed by the other party. Hateful. Wang Long punched the wall next to him. Ji Linglong and Lang Ningshuang looked at each other and felt that they were in trouble. Although White Cloud sect has a good foundation, it is a first-class sect. But compared to the top martial arts, there is still a slight gap. The next day, sure enough, Wang Long received a letter from Feihu Division, which asked him to release Hua Lushang immediately and not to conflict with Zanshen sect. He found Ji Linglong and Lang Ningshuang and told them about it. Both women looked ugly, but the Zanshen clan has a great cause and an extraordinary foundation. If there is a conflict with them here, I am afraid that the White Cloud sect will be implicated. This matter was of great importance, and they did not dare to mess around. Only Ling Feng remained silent, not knowing what he was thinking. He took out a pennant. It was given to him by the common people. He chuckled and walked straight to the dungeon of the city lord's mansion. Master Ling, what do you want to do? Junior brother. Don't be impulsive. When several people saw this, their expressions changed slightly. Wang Long even stood in front of Ling Feng. Master Ling, I know you are very angry now, but if you kill Hua Lushang, I'm afraid the Zanshen sect won't let you go. Junior brother, let's go back and report to the sect master first. Lang Ningshuang also said helplessly. When we go back and ask the sect master to make a decision, Hua Lushang will have been brought back to Zanshen sect and will continue to be at large. Ling Feng said calmly. He walked towards the dungeon step by step. Wang Long was still standing in front of him, but Ling Feng just waved his hand, and a majestic true qi surged like a violent wave, instantly knocking him away. This kind of cultivation. Wu Zong, how can it be? Wang Long looked a little horrified. This was the first time he saw such a young Wu Zong. Lang Ningshuang and Ji Linglong looked at each other. Really, the junior brother's cultivation has already surpassed them. You 2 girls, hurry up and persuade Mr. Ling. At this time, Wang Long looked at the 2 girls Ji Linglong. It's useless. Although junior brother is usually easy to talk to, as long as it's something he decides, even 10 cows can't pull it back. This Hua Lushang is dead. Ji Linglong and the other 2 had no intention of stopping Ling Feng. Inside the dungeon, Hua Lushang was sitting cross-legged, with no trace of panic on her face. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps came. He looked at Ling Feng coming with a smile on his face. Oh, you are finally here. Open the door and let me out. He had obviously known for a long time that people from the Zanshen sect would come to save him. I have always been confident. Ling Feng opened the cell door with an indifferent expression and released the other party. Haha, that's right. Going against the Zanshen sect for a few fools is not a wise choice. Just let me go. Hua Lushang stood up and walked out of the cell door. But before he could get out of the dungeon, Ling Feng suddenly grabbed it with his big hand. Before the opponent had time to react, he was hit in the chest with a palm. He flew backwards and hit the wall, spitting out blood. What are you going to do? Hua Lushang's face changed wildly. Then he discovered to his horror that Ling Feng's palm had completely shattered the meridians in his body, and his entire cultivation level had been destroyed. Now it's very difficult to even raise my hand. I'm going to kill you. By opposing the Zanshen sect, you are seeking death. Hua Lushang roared with a ferocious expression. Ling Feng stepped forward, directly lifted the opponent's collar, and dragged the opponent out of the dungeon like a dead dog. Then he walked out of the city lord's mansion and dragged him to the street. Ji Yu Linglong, Lang Ning Shuang, Wang Long, and the city lord all followed. On the street, Hannah Lushang was still cursing. His body rubbed against the ground, his clothes had been torn, and his flesh and blood gradually cracked under the friction of the rough sand and stones, leaving a long blood mark on the ground. Many people on the street looked at this scene curiously. But when they found out it was Hannah Lushang, everyone couldn't help but get angry. Some people picked up the gravel on the ground, and some took out eggs and threw them directly at Hua Lushang. The crowd was indignant, and Hua Lushang was quickly beaten to death. Devil, go to hell. My poor daughter, she is only 14 years old, how could you do this? Go to hell, go to hell. You must die a happy death. The people cursed. In a restaurant not far away, Li Qian noticed that Hua Lushang was dragged to the street by Ling Feng, and his face darkened. How outrageous. I have already made it so clear, but I still dare to do this. Do you really not care about our Zanshen sect at all? Ling Feng dragged Hua Lushang towards the center of Yancheng Square, where he planned to behead the opponent in front of the entire city. Suddenly, in front of him, a person stood in front of him. It was Li Qian who came yesterday to ask them to release the flower fragrance. Looking at the other party, Ling Feng looked indifferent. A good dog stays out of the way and gets out of the way. No, let Hua Lushang go. Otherwise, you are provoking me, the Zanshen sect. Can you, White Cloud sect, bear the price? Li Qian said coldly. One person is responsible for what he does, and this person is the one I want to kill. Ha, naive. Not even the imperial court dares to go against my Zanshen sect. What capital do you have to dare to kill Hua Lushang? Li Qian coldly snorted. The court dare not kill, I will kill. Ling Feng said calmly, with an unquestionable tone in his tone. He is not afraid of the Zanshen sect. Anyway, behind him, there is Lu Rusi's support. Again, get out of the way. Boy, if that's the case, then just go to hell. Li Qian no longer hesitated and took action immediately. The long sword at the waist is unsheathed. The brilliant sword light struck Ling Feng like lightning. This sword is fast and accurate. It is a sure killing sword. Ling Feng directly punched out, the unique golden true qi of martial Dao sacred body, with fierce and domineering power, smashed the sword light into pieces. Li Qian's pupils shrank, he couldn't believe that he was hit by the fist light. The whole person is in an instant burst open. Fallen on the spot. The opponent never thought until his death that he would be killed instantly with one move. Hua Lushang, who was originally hopeful, saw shock and despair in her eyes after Li Qian, who came to save her, was killed with one punch. You, what kind of monster are you? Hua Lushang said with a trembling tone. Ling Feng didn't reply, didn't even look at the body on the ground, and was still muttering, I told you to get out of the way, otherwise I would have to take action. The people around were shocked when they saw Ling Feng killing Li Qian instantly. They didn't expect that the young man in front of them who looked like the sunny boy next door would have such strength, but they were not afraid of it. Instead, they applauded each other's actions. HMPH, this guy came out of nowhere and actually wants to save Hannah Lushang, a flower-picking thief. It doesn't sound like a good thing at first glance. That's right, it's best to kill him. You deserve to die, Ba. Wanshuan Shen sect, as one of the 4 top sects, actually defends a villain like Hua Lushang. It is really disgusting. Soon, Ling Feng dragged Hua Lushan to Yancheng Guangcheng. Many people have gathered around. Everyone is waiting for the moment when Hannah Lushang is executed. Hey, Master Ling is probably going to be in trouble now. Wang Long sighed. Even the imperial court did not dare to go against the Zanshen sect. Wang Long was really curious as to what confidence Ling Feng had to do this. Or is it really just out of passion? Everyone, pick flowers and steal flowers, and the fragrance is here. This man has harmed countless young girls. I don't know how many families have been torn apart because of him. His crimes are too numerous to describe. Today, I am here to kill him and comfort the souls of those who were harmed by him. Ling Feng said lightly, and the 7-star dragon abyss around his waist slowly unsheathed. But it was also at this time. In the sky not far away, a figure came quickly. The person who came was an old man. He turned into wings with true qi and soared into the sky. The true qi on his body was like a raging storm, exuding an incomparable pressure. Master, save me. When Hua Lushang saw the visitor, she burst into tears of joy. The person who came was none other than an elder from the Zanshen sect. His cultivation level has impressively reached the 9th level of King Wu. In Dazhou, he is definitely a famous top powerhouse. His arrival exuded pressure like huge mountains, falling on everyone present, and ordinary people could not help but be pressed to the ground. Even Wang Long, Lang Ningxuang, Ji Yu Linglong and other martial arts masters were trembling under the pressure of King Wu, unable to produce the slightest fighting spirit. Only Ling Feng stood there with an indifferent expression, his posture still upright. Boy, let me go. For the sake of White Cloud sect, I don't have to argue with you. The old man said indifferently. The pressure continued to increase, crushing towards Ling Feng. Ling Feng just smiled indifferently. Let him go. I think you are farting. Brush. The sword light lit up. Then, a head rolled to the ground, and blood spurted out like a spring. Hua Lushang, die. His head fell to the ground, his eyes widening in disbelief. The old man was also stunned for a moment. Then, he flew into a rage, and King Wu's pressure reached its peak in an instant. Boy, you are looking for death. Finished. He raised his hand and struck Ling Feng with a palm strike. Not good. Junior brother, Lang Ningxuang, Ji Yu Linglong and the 2 women's eyes are about to burst, wanting to rush forward and block Ling Feng's attack. However, under the pressure of King Wu, their actions were extremely difficult and they had no time to stop them. There was a trace of despair on their faces. They swear, Ling Feng has 3 advantages and 2 disadvantages. They must let Zan Shenzong be buried with him. At this time, Ling Feng then slashed out with his sword. The brilliant sword light contained overwhelming sword power, colliding with the old man's fist, causing heavy air waves in the void. The old man couldn't believe it. You are also a martial king. This time, everyone was stunned. King Wu is the top strong man in the Great Zhou dynasty. I don't dare to say that it is invincible, but it can basically walk sideways. Most of the martial kings were achieved after dozens or even hundreds of years of hard work, but Ling Feng, how old is he this year? Evildoer. These 2 words can't help but come to everyone's mind. Ding. The host is not afraid of power, kills Hua Lushang, and eliminates harm for the people. He is worthy of being my host. Well done. Get rewards. The power of 10 elephants. Closing square bracket. The power of 10 images. Ling Feng felt a powerful force explode in his body instantly. There is no improvement with true qi, but his physical strength has skyrocketed. His eyes lit up, and then true qi surged out, and a pair of sword wings composed of countless fine sword energy grew out of his back, which were the true qi transformed wings. With a flutter of his wings, he soared into the sky instantly. Attack the old man. The 7-star Longyuan in his hand bloomed with dazzling sword light. The sword edge passed by. Even the void seemed to be trembling. The 7th famous sword book, 7-star Longyuan. And this domineering true qi, is it martial Tao's sacred body? The old man was well informed and could see a lot of information at once. But it was precisely because of this that he seemed particularly shocked. What kind of monster is this? Without saying a word, he began to deal with Ling Feng's attack. Judgment based on cultivation. He is the 9th level of King of Martial Arts, but Ling Feng has just been promoted to King of Martial Arts not long ago. The old man has the upper hand. Unfortunately, Ling Feng's combat power cannot be measured by his cultivation level. 3 talents in swordsmanship. Liang Yi's sword art. Ba Wang's sword technique. Ling Feng waved the Long Yuan sword in his hand, and various exquisite sword techniques were displayed one after another. The sword light covered the sky, and the sword power was overwhelming, making him like an inviolable sword god. Although the old man's cultivation level was above Ling Feng's, he was beaten back steadily by the fierce swordsmanship and the overbearing sword power. This swordsmanship, this sword power, even King Wu may not have it. High in the sky, Ling Feng and the old man Tru Chi transformed into wings, fighting fiercely in the air. Ling Feng's sword technique is so exquisite that he is like a god in the sword. Even though the old man was at the 9th level of King Wu, he was severely suppressed. This scene left everyone stunned. They had never seen such a young martial king, let alone one who could easily suppress a veteran martial king who was at the 9th level of the martial king. It's just incredible. Is this the true strength of junior brother? Too strong. Lang Ningxuang and Ji Yu Linglong couldn't help but show deep admiration in their eyes. In the beautiful eyes, there are many brilliant colors. What to do? I like my junior brother even more. How can you suppress me, the dignified elder of the Zanshen sect? Secret technique of heavenly wheel. Open. At this time, the old man shouted loudly, and the blood and qi in his body burst out. A huge blood-colored light wheel condensed in the void. The blood wheel exuded strong pressure, and even the void was trembling slightly. No, this is one of the 3 Earth-level secret techniques of Zanshen sect. Wang Long's expression changed slightly. Earth-level secret technique. This kind of secret technique is very rare, and there are only a few copies in the entire Great Zhou dynasty. As soon as the secret technique was used, the old man's combat power soared, and there was a faint tendency to exceed the limit of King Wu. He pushed with both hands, and the blood wheel suddenly hit Ling Feng. The power is so strong that it is like overwhelming mountains and seas. Facing this blow, Ling Feng smiled slightly, without retreating or evading. He actually put away Kixing Longyuan, and then grasped it with 5 fingers. A terrifying aura swept out of him, like a supreme overlord descending into the world. Chaos fist. Punch out. A series of roaring sounds erupted in the void. A huge golden fist seal appeared out of thin air, surrounded by giant elephant figures, and the roar of the elephants shook the sky-earth shaker. It's the Chaos Fist, plus the power of the 10 elephants. Boom! The bloody light wheel shattered directly. The old man's pupils shrank, his face full of disbelief, and the huge fist had already hit him, and in the next second, he was completely beaten to a pulp. King Wu 9th level, die. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing the powerful king of martial arts for the first time, and for crossing several small realms to kill the enemy. You are really great. Closing square bracket. Reward the host with the unique skill of swordsmanship, Flying Immortal Sword Technique. The Flying Immortal Sword Technique is Emperor-level technique. Compared to the Troubled Times Hegemony Fist, it is not inferior at all. Ling Feng's eyes lit up. Hearing the excited voice of the system, he couldn't help curling his lips. What's so surprising? Isn't it the 9th level of King Wu? Martial Dao Sacred Body, Emperor-level cultivation technique, power of 10 symbols. Putting these things together, killing a martial king is simply too easy. He doubted that even the martial lord was above the martial king. You can also fight yourself. However, there seemed to be very few strong martial masters in the Great Zhou dynasty. How many of the 4 top sects are there? Ling Feng thought to himself, and then he returned to Ji Yu Linglong and Lang Ningxuang. The 2 women were still a little confused. After all, my junior brother just killed a top martial arts king with 1 punch. Master, junior brother, what kind of boxing was that just now? Ji Yu Linglong swallowed her saliva and asked in shock. Oh, that boxing technique just now is called Chaos Fist. If you want to learn it, senior sister, I'll teach you. Ling Feng said with a slight smile. He couldn't even hide the emperor-level skills. Anyway, he now has a new emperor-level technique. And based on his understanding, he believes that when he reaches a higher level in the future, he will definitely be able to create a technique that is more powerful than the emperor-level technique. Chaos Fist, what a domineering name. She couldn't help but feel a little excited when she heard that Ling Feng was going to teach her. Not only because this boxing technique is so powerful. The key is, if my junior brother teaches me, I will have an excuse to get along with each other in the future, and I can also build a relationship with each other. It's like killing two birds with one stone. Lang Ningxuang also thought of this and spoke first. These skills are kept secret in any sect. Junior brother, it's better not to teach them to others easily. Even if you are from the same sect, you should keep them secret. Mind's eye. Ji Yu Linglong glared at her. But he also knew that what the other party said was right, and said, Ningxuang is right, this technique is powerful, junior brother must be careful not to be taken care of by interested people. Ling Feng smiled and said, the two senior sisters are not outsiders to me, but very important friends. Of course I am happy to teach you the skills. Important friend. When the two women heard this, their faces turned slightly red. It was like setting off fireworks in my heart, I couldn't help but be excited and happy. Junior brother, he is so flirtatious. Putting aside the matter of teaching the skills for the time being, Ling Feng glanced at Walushang's body and said calmly to Wang Long, Wang Captu, this flower picker has been executed. If Feihusi blames you, pass all the responsibilities on. Just come to me. Hey, brother Ling, Feihu division won't do anything to you, but the Xuanchen sect may not be the same. You killed Walushang and one of their elders. They will never let it go. Wang Long sighed. Then let them do it. A confident smile appeared on Ling Feng's face. A Zan Shen sect, do you really think he would be afraid? Looking at the confident look on the young man's face, Wang Long thought of the terrifying scene where the other party just killed the top martial arts king with one punch. This young man really has the capital to say such things. With the ability to teach such a disciple, Elder Lu Rusi of White Cloud sect may not be as unbearable as the rumors outside say. Perhaps in the near future, White Cloud sect will become the new top sect. Wang Long thought to himself. As long as Ling Feng doesn't die, it will take a few more years. The other party can definitely lead White Cloud sect to create a new glorious history. Wang Long has no doubt about this. Okay, we should go back next. Junior brother, let's go. Ji Yu Linglong said, I plan to return to the sect. Ling Feng did not refuse and said goodbye to Wang Long and others. The people of Yancheng looked at the departing figures of Ling Feng and others, and kept expressing their gratitude, thanking them for removing a great harm to Yancheng. In this way, Ling Feng's name gradually spread. After all, young geniuses who can kill King Wu are so rare. Yes, raise your hand a little higher. In a wilderness. Ling Feng was raising Ji Yu Linglong's hand close to her body and speaking into the other person's ear. Because of his proximity, Ji Yu Linglong's ears turned slightly red. But Ling Feng had no consciousness and concentrated on teaching the opponent's boxing techniques. After correcting Ji Yu Linglong's mistake, he walked aside and helped Lang Ningxuang correct her posture. Yes, that's it. Punch harder. Yes, not bad. Fisting in troubled times is all about a kind of momentum that is better than others. The person who punches must have nothing else in mind and only respect himself. Only in this way can we grasp its essence. Like this. Ling Feng stood there and demonstrated to the two women. Punch out. The domineering fist strikes forward. Not using true chi, but the momentum of the punch alone had already set off a fierce fist wind on the spot, and the power made the two women's feet weak. Junior brother is so domineering. Oops, I love my junior brother even more. Looking at the two rosy-faced women, Ling Feng was a little confused. Is there something wrong with what I teach? Chapter 31. Ling Feng found out helplessly. The two women are not suitable for practicing the troubled times boxing. This boxing technique is too overbearing. The two women didn't know why, but when he was teaching them, they didn't have any domineering momentum at all, and they couldn't bring out the essence of their boxing skills at all. But the two women didn't really care. If you can't succeed with the fist in troubled times, then try the flying immortal sword technique. Ling Feng thought of the emperor-level technique he had acquired not long ago. And looking at the majestic and ethereal Ling Feng who was performing the sword technique, his figure was like a flying fairy, his sword energy was flying, the two women couldn't help but be stunned. Junior brother, what kind of swordsmanship is this? I'll teach you the emperor-level skills and the flying immortal sword technique. The corners of the two women's mouths twitched. My good junior brother. How many secrets do you have that we don't know? Emperor level exercises one after another. This is emperor level, not some cabbage. The two women complained inwardly, and then started to practice with Ling Feng with great interest. Compared with Chaos Feng, they were obviously more suitable for this sword technique. The progress of practice is much faster than practicing the Chaos times Hegemony fist. Looking at the two women who were practicing swordsmanship and had mastered the swordsmanship a little, Ling Feng smiled happily and said, "Sure enough, my ability to teach people is not a problem." Ding. The host does not hesitate to give guidance to fellow disciples and generously teaches them techniques. Closing square bracket. Get a reward of 10,000 supreme grade spiritual stones. Closing square bracket. Ling Feng glanced at the storage ring. The supreme grade spiritual stones inside have piled up into mountains. A supreme grade spirit stone can be exchanged for about 10,000 taels of silver. And the number of supreme grade spiritual stones Ling Feng currently has is more than 100,000. Plus those hundreds of millions of silver coins. Ling Feng felt that no one in the entire Zhou dynasty was richer than himself. He has become extremely wealthy. Time flies. 3 days passed. The three of Ling Feng returned to White Cloud Sect. As soon as he came back, Ling Feng went to Piaomiao Peak to find Lu Rusi. He also carried 2 bottles of wine in his hand, which he bought at a large price on the road. This is Drunken Immortal Brew. Lu Rusi wrinkled her nose and trotted over to Ling Feng. Looking at the 2 jars of wine in his hand, she almost cried out. Drunken Immortal Brew. The first wine of the great Zhou dynasty. A pot costs 10,000 taels of silver. This wine is so strong that it is said that even the immortals in the sky will become drunk after drinking it. Hence the name Zaixianzhang. Without saying a word, Lu Rusi took a jar, opened the seal of the wine, and drank several sips. It's great. It's been a long time since I drank Zaixianzhang. The last time I drank it was 30 years ago. I just became a when you go to the peak master. It's a pity that Piaomiao Peak was completely defeated by me, and I no longer have the money to drink such good wine. My dear disciple, my master's love for you has not been in vain. Lu Rusi patted Ling Feng on the shoulder and smiled. Master, actually I got into trouble when I went down the mountain this time. Ling Feng said. Oh, what's the trouble? Lu Rusi asked casually. I killed someone. What does this mean? Your master and I held my sword and slashed from the White Cloud Sect to the king's city of Zhou dynasty. I didn't know how many people died along the way, 30,000 miles away. I killed a martial king elder from the Zanshen sect. When Lu Rusi heard this, he was stunned for a moment, and then laughed loudly. Okay, disciple, I cut down a King Wu the first time I went down the mountain. Not bad, not bad. Well, master, aren't you afraid that Zanshen sect will come to your door? What are you afraid of? I'll chop as many as you come. Lu Rusi said domineeringly. He doesn't take this top sect in the Zhou dynasty seriously at all. Ling Feng's eyes lit up. Master is mighty. Then, he directly took out dozens of jars of drunk immortal brew and piled them in front of Lu Rusi. This is my disciple's idea. Please accept it, master. Okay, a lot of drunken immortal brew. Lu Rusi rubbed his eyes, wondering if he was dreaming. These dozens of jars of Zaixian brewing amount to hundreds of thousands of taels. The total amount of wine she drank in her life was not half as expensive as here. Great, great, my dear disciple, I love you so much. Lu Rusi's face was flushed with excitement. He held Ling Feng's face and smacked his forehead, leaving a lip mark. Then, ignoring Ling Feng who was stunned on the spot, he jumped into the wine jar and drank happily. I was taken advantage of. Xiao Qingluan on Ling Feng's shoulder said repeatedly. Ling Feng patted its little head. Feeling the tenderness and moistness just now, look at Lu Rusi's small cherry mouth, which is drinking drunken wine. Hey, boys, you really need to be careful to protect yourself. Not a moment. Lang Ningxuang and Ji Yu Linglong finished the task and came to Piaomiao Peak to find Ling Feng. Junior brother. Ah. Just as Ji Yu Linglong was about to say something, she noticed the lip marks on Ling Feng's forehead and exclaimed on the spot, with anger in her eyes. Who is it? Who is the junior brother of Humaizakan? Lang Ningxuang was equally angry. She hasn't even started yet. Who is so bold and dares to get ahead of her? Ling Feng touched his forehead. Isn't it just a kiss? The reaction of the two senior sisters was probably too great. Oh, I should be worried that I will be deceived by a bad woman. Senior sister is so kind. Ling Feng suddenly realized. Senior sister misunderstood. This is my master's kiss, she. What? It's Elder Lu. Could it be that she wants the old cow to eat tender grass? This is simply too. Ji Yu Linglong hadn't finished her words yet. Suddenly I felt a chill down my spine. Looking not far away, Lu Rusi was having a drink, already looking drunk and dazed, and seemed not to notice them, but the chill was real. Ji Yu Linglong quickly shut up. Who knows if Elder Lu is pretending to be drunk? Well, Elder Lu probably did it when he was drunk. Lang Ningxuang made a reasonable guess. Ling Feng didn't explain, and nodded, yes, yes. Oh, all right. Ji Yu Linglong and the two girls felt a little relieved. If Lu Rusi was also interested in Ling Feng, they might not necessarily be able to win over each other. After all, the other party is beautiful and powerful. I also get along with Ling Feng day and night, and the first to get the moon is the one who is near the water and the tower. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this time, bursts of bells were heard from the direction of White Cloud Sect Taishu Peak. Ling Feng, Ji Yu Linglong and others looked at each other. This is Taishu Bell. The Taishu Bell will only ring when the sect is in crisis. Did Zan Shen sect call? Ling Feng's eyes narrowed, the other party moved so fast. The three of them did not dare to be careless and hurried to Taishu Peak. As for Lu Rusi, he was already half drunk. After hearing the bell, a strange color appeared in his beautiful eyes, but he had no intention of going there. On Taishu Peak, many disciples have already gathered at the top of the mountain. In the main hall, many elders also gathered together. Several true disciples of Ling Feng walked in. Suddenly, a powerful pressure swept towards Ling Feng. A cold voice sounded. Ling Feng, do you know your guilt? It's the great elder. He was looking at Ling Feng coldly. King Wu's pressure swept out. Ling Feng knew that it was indeed because of Zan Shen sect. But before he could speak, the Lord of White Cloud sect waved his sleeves to resolve the great elder's pressure, and said calmly, what crime is Ling Feng guilty of? He killed the martial king of the Zan Shen sect and brought trouble to us. Does the sect master still want to protect him for such a serious crime? The great elder gritted his teeth and said. When the elders heard this, they all took a breath of air. One person looked at Ling Feng and asked, did you really kill King Wu? Yes. Ling Feng nodded without denying it. The great elder sneered. Look, he admitted it himself. It's amazing, Ling Feng, you can actually kill King Wu. Let me go, little Ling Feng, you are going to defy heaven. Haha, Ling Feng is worthy of being the number one among the younger generation in my White Cloud sect. With this level of cultivation, he can even kill King Wu. Everyone looked at Ling Feng and laughed. Instead of blaming him, several elders were excited that he could kill King Wu, which confused the great elder. Is there any mistake? This is completely different from what he imagined. You guys, what's going on with you? Ling Feng killed the elders of Zan Shen sect and brought disaster to my White Cloud sect, and you still praise him. Don't you think the safety of White Cloud sect is important? The great elder said angrily. The Lord of White Cloud sect said calmly, I already know what happened. Hua Lushong died unjustly, and Zan Shenzong actually protected him, which is not a good thing. Ling Feng killed him to eliminate harm for the people. What crime is there? Not only is he not guilty, he is actually guilty. As for the Zan Shen sect, they want to start a war, we will accompany them to the end. After the Lord of White Cloud sect finished speaking, an unparalleled aura erupted from his body. It is impressively above the martial king, the realm of martial lord. This made the great elder's pupils shrink slightly, with disbelief in his eyes. Have you broken through to martial lord? Exactly. The master of White Cloud sect has a hint of pride in his eyebrows. This is also one of the reasons why he dares to protect Ling Feng. In the realm of martial master, he is definitely the first-class strong man in the great Zhou dynasty. The sect leaders of the four top sects are also in this realm. After being promoted to martial master, he has already competed. The confidence of a top sect. The great elder's expression changed for a while, and then he left with a puff of sleeves. Looking at his leaving figure, the Lord of White Cloud sect shook his head and said, Great Elder, I hope you will take care of yourself and don't do anything that would disgrace the sect. Then, he ignored him and looked at Ling Feng with the other elders, with admiration in his eyes, completely regarding him as the future of White Cloud sect. And in fact, that's exactly what happened. Such a young King Wu could not be found in the entire Zhou dynasty. No, don't talk about the whole week. Even the 7 dynasties are difficult to find. It's hard to imagine how far the company will achieve given a few more years, but it will definitely lead White Cloud sect to a new peak. This is also the reason why the leader of White Cloud sect and others are willing to protect Ling Feng to the death. Sect Master, is the Zanshen sect calling? Ling Feng asked curiously. The Lord of White Cloud sect nodded slightly. Well, yes, in order to seek justice for their dead elders, the people of Zanshen sect have sent a large number of martial artists, heading towards White Cloud sect, but this is not entirely your problem. Zanshen sect has been coveting my White Cloud sect for a long time and has long wanted to annex us. Revenge for the elders is just an excuse. Even if you don't kill them, they will come to your door sooner or later. Ling Feng nodded. Xuanshan sect is a top sect. Sect Master, with White Cloud sect's current strength, what are the chances of winning against them? Oh, the odds of winning are slim, but there's no problem in protecting yourself. Hearing this, Ling Feng nodded secretly. With the words of Lord White Cloud sect and the presence of Lu Rusi, Ling Feng was completely relieved. Don't worry, Ling Feng. We in White Cloud sect have a sect protector sword formation. The Zanshen sect has come all the way to attack us. Whether we can break the sword formation or not is a question. An elder laughed. He is very confident in his own sword formation. In fact, in the Great Zhou dynasty, the Baiyun sword formation was also famous. Time flies. Soon, one day and one night passed. Just the next day, when the sun was just rising, waves of true chi fluctuations were heard not far away, and figures came from the sky one after another. Each of these people exudes at least the aura of a martial spirit. They truly turned into wings and soared into the sky. Arriving above the White Cloud sect, his eyes were cold and his murderous intent was awe-inspiring. Especially the leader, with white hair and white eyebrows, spread out a pair of golden wings like a golden-winged rock, exuding great pressure. White Cloud sect Ling Feng, killing my Zanshen sect elder is a heinous crime. Lord White Cloud sect, hand him over now, everything needs to be discussed. The white-haired man said loudly. Ha ha ha. At this time, a loud laugh sounded. The Lord of White Cloud sect rose into the sky and looked at the martial artists opposite, with a look of arrogance on his face. Xuanshan sect, if you want to start a war, I, White Cloud sect, will accompany you to the end, and I want us to hand over Ling Feng. Compromise and dream. The white-haired old man's face darkened. You are seeking death. He said no more. As he raised his hand, a powerful true chi gathered in his palm. With one palm strike, the force of the palm was like an overwhelming force. But before this palm fell on White Cloud sect, it was torn apart by a sword light rising from the ground, followed by 1, 10, 100, 1,000. Tens of thousands of sword lights erupted from the ground of White Cloud sect. A huge sword formation was formed. The sword array surrounds the White Cloud sect, exuding an inviolable majesty. When the white-haired old man saw this, his eyes narrowed. The White Cloud sect sword formation is indeed well-deserved, but with just one formation, how long can you block it? Ha, let's talk about it after you can break in. The Lord of White Cloud sect sneered. The white-haired old man began to take action. Not only him, but also the martial arts kings behind him also took action one after another. All kinds of palm energy, fist energy, and sword energy surged out. For a time, the entire Baiyun sword formation was shaking. But after a round of fierce attacks, Baiyun sword sect is still strong. Is this sword formation so powerful? The white-haired old man's expression changed slightly. In the White Cloud sect, many disciples could not help but breathe a sigh of relief when they saw that the sword formation was impregnable. They looked at the Zanshen sect disciples outside with amusement on their faces. You know the power of my White Cloud sect sword array, right? Ha, no matter how many of you there are, you still can't get in. That's right, if you want to break the sword formation, another 100 years of training won't be enough. Ling Feng looked at the sword formation and was amazed. With this sword formation, White Cloud sect, stable. But the sword formation suddenly buzzed and vibrated. Not far away, a huge gap actually began to appear in the sword array. The faces of the White Cloud sect master and the elders changed drastically. Someone is destroying the sword formation internally. This sword formation is the top secret of the White Cloud sect. Only the true elders know where the foundation of the sword formation is. Who is it? Where has the great elder gone? At this time, everyone discovered something was wrong. At this critical moment, the great elder was nowhere to be seen. In addition, the formation was broken from the inside, and it was already obvious who broke it. Ha ha ha, Lord White Cloud sect, you didn't expect that our Zhan Shen sect came prepared this time. After today, White Cloud sect will no longer exist. The white-haired old man laughed. Then, he took the lead to rush in through the gap in the sword array, and the White Cloud sect master also took action, fighting with the opponent, and the other elders also took action. The scene was chaotic for a while. Ling Feng and others will naturally not sit still and wait for death. They rushed to the gap in the sword formation and fought against the foreign enemies together. And here it is. They saw a bloody man lying on the ground. The other party was obviously the true disciple, Feng Xiaoyao. He is also the disciple of the Great Elder. Not far away, the Great Elder was standing next to a huge stone pillar, and the stone pillar had fallen to the ground. It was one of the foundations of the sword formation. Needless to say, Feng Xiaoyao was also injured by the Great Elder. Seeing this, Ji Yu Linglong and others couldn't help but feel angry. Great Elder, how dare you betray the sect? Senior brother Feng has always respected you, but you committed such a vicious attack. Ji Yu Linglong, Lang Ningxuang, Zhang Ruochen and others looked at Feng Xiaoyao on the ground, their faces turned blue with anger, but the Great Elder was dismissive of this. Respect me. If he really respects me, he shouldn't hinder me, and he should work with me to kill the sect master. At that time, I will be the new sect master, and he will be the chief disciple. One person is worth 10,000 above people. But he wants to stop me. I have raised him for so many years and taught him martial arts. Is this how he repays me and respects me? It's better not to have this apprentice. The Great Elder snorted coldly. Hearing this, Ji Yu Linglong and others became even more angry. You betrayed the sect, are you still justified? Senior brother Feng understands the righteousness well. It is really unlucky to be your disciple. That's right, Great Elder, let's capture him without mercy. Looking at the juniors in front of him, the elder said disdainfully, you young people also want to arrest me. What a fool. They can't, what about me? Ling Feng walked out slowly. The 7-star Long Yuan on his waist immediately unsheathed with a whooshing sound. The cold sword energy surged out. Seeing him, the Great Elder showed a trace of solemnity on his face. Lu Ruxi's disciple, Martial Dao Sacred Body, if you joined me at the beginning, why should I cooperate with Zhan Shen sect? With your ability, you will definitely help me ascend to the throne in the future. The throne of the sect leader, but you want to be Lu Ruxi's disciple. She is a useless person who has fallen for herself, how can she compare to me? Ling Feng, you are short-sighted. You are not even worthy of carrying my master's shoes. Ling Feng said lightly. Well, let me see how capable the apprentice Lu Ruxi is. The Great Elder sneered twice and then took action. The long sword in his hand was raised, and a sword light struck Ling Feng. But Ling Feng just blocked it casually. He even caught the flaw in the Great Elder's swordsmanship and stabbed out a bloody hole directly in the opponent's shoulder. The other party's expression changed. How is that possible? Your swordsmanship is so exquisite. How did you do it? Is it exquisite? My swordsmanship is far inferior to that of my master. Ling Feng said lightly. No, it's impossible. How could that loser Lu Ruxi teach a disciple like you? It's even more impossible for her to have this kind of swordsmanship. The Great Elder growled. Then, the aura on his body exploded. True Qi surged like a violent wave. It was the 9th level of King Wu. There is only one step away from Wu Zun. Beiyun Divine Sword Ju, die. He pushed True Qi to the extreme. With a sword slashed out, the sword energy was like clouds, layer upon layer, surging. When Ling Feng saw this, he didn't hide or avoid it. The long sword in his hand stabbed out. His figure was as ethereal as an immortal. The sword light was sharp, like an immortal guiding the way. It was the flying immortal sword technique. At this moment, the man and the sword joined together, just like an immortal descending from the sky. Dense and picturesque, the disciples only felt that the scene in front of them was pleasing to the eye. But only the great elder felt the majestic murderous intention contained in this sword. In just a moment, the sword energy tore through the cloud-like sword energy and passed directly through his neck. Blood surged out like a spring. The great elder took 2 steps back, clutching his neck tightly, his eyes widened, and he looked at Ling Feng in disbelief. Your swordsmanship. The name of the sword. Feixian. I'm not willing to give in, I'm not willing to give in. The great elder's eyes gradually darkened, and he knelt on the ground with a thud. Martial King 9th level has fallen. Ding. The host takes action to kill the great elder and cleans the portal. Congratulations to the host for winning a random talent draw. The system upgrade sounded. But Ling Feng has no time to draw the lottery now. He looked at the White Cloud sect master and others who were fighting fiercely with the Zanshen sect in the sky, and then looked at the Zanshen sect disciples who were rushing into the sect through the gaps one after another. His eyes gradually became cold. Senior brother Ling Feng, please lead us to resist the Zanshen sect. Senior brother Ling Feng, please lead us. Many disciples came up to Ling Feng and said. Looking at these people, Ling Feng thought of something and his eyes lit up. He then took out copper balls and handed them to everyone, saying, this thing is called the Fiery Fire and Thunder Bead. Inject true chi into it to activate it. If you encounter an opponent you cannot resist, throw this bead out. Everyone held the copper ball in their hands and was a little curious. Is this thing really useful? But Ji Yu Linglong and Lang Ningshuang had no doubts. Ji Yu Linglong held a bead, entered true chi into it, and then moved towards a group of Zanshen sect disciples. The group of people looked at the copper ball flying in front of them, wondering why. But the next moment, the copper ball emits a red light and explodes with a bang. Terrifying flames and thunder and lightning swept out, covering an area of dozens of feet. Wherever it affects, everything will turn into ashes. More than a dozen other powerful spirit-level warriors died on the spot. The overbearing power stunned the disciples of White Cloud sect. Looking at the copper ball in my hand, I suddenly felt that it was heavy. What a terrifying murder weapon. Haha, great. With this thing here, why should we be afraid of the Zanshen sect? Then, the disciples took the copper balls and excitedly attacked the Zanshen sect disciples. Boom, boom, boom. Terrifying thunder and firepower burst out in the air one after another. It was like a series of fireworks exploding. Each and every Zanshen sect disciple turned into ashes under this power. As for Ling Feng, he is not idle either. I saw his sword finger concentrating, and using his sword control skills, the 7-star dragon abyss turned into a dragon and circled in the air, bursting out with a loud dragon roar. Wherever the sword passed, all the disciples of the Zanshen sect had their heads and body parts disfigured. Just like mowing grass, the top experts of Zanshen sect were shocked when they saw this scene. What's the background of this guy? I know him, he is Ling Feng. Didn't you say that he is just a boy of 15 or 16 years old? How could he have such fighting power? No wonder he was able to kill King Wu. It's terrifying. If this person is kept, he will definitely be a big problem in the future. Kill him. Everyone's eyes were cold and they wanted to deal with Ling Feng first. Suddenly, 3 martial kings and 7 or 8 martial sects jointly took action and flew towards Ling Feng. When Ling Feng saw this, he punched slightly. He clenched his 5 fingers and punched out. Suddenly, the chaos fist was used. 11 giant elephants gathered in the void and roared. Wherever the fist light went, the void shook continuously. 3 martial kings and 7 or 8 martial sects were killed one after another on the spot, fell from midair, smashed to the ground, and turned into pulp. What kind of boxing technique is this? This guy is definitely not a human, he's a monster. Everyone in the Zanshen sect looked at Ling Feng with fear in their eyes. The white-haired old man at the head swallowed his saliva, made a decisive decision, and yelled, back. He wanted to escape, but was stopped by the White Cloud sect master. Haha, since you are here, don't leave, stay. Secret technique, bloody sword. The white-haired old man roared angrily, activated his chi and blood true chi, turned into a bloody sword shadow, and struck down at the White Cloud sect master. The leader of White Cloud sect focused his gaze, and just as he was about to resist, Ling Feng's voice came from behind him, "Sect Master, get out of the way." His figure flashed and he hid. Ling Feng raised his hand and threw it, and more than 20 flaming thunder beads flew out. The bloody sword shadow struck down. But he faced more than 20 blazing fire and thunder beads. Boom, boom, boom. A series of terrifying explosions sounded. The bloody sword shadow was directly blown to pieces, and the white-haired old man was blown away on the spot. His clothes were shattered and his body was pitch black. There was also a faint smell of meat. It was half-cooked. But even so, the other party is not dead yet. Ling Feng couldn't help but marveled. Wu Zun's vitality is really tenacious. After saying that, he shook his fingers. The unique golden true qi of martial Tao sacred body surges out and punches out. The chaos of chaos breaks out. Boom! The terrifying power of the fist hits the sky and the earth. The white-haired old man's pupils shrank. He didn't dare to confront anyone head-on, and wanted to dodge, but found that the void around him had been locked, making it impossible for him to escape. Times of crisis. Above the sky, a bolt of thunder suddenly fell. Boom! The thunder fell on the fist and shattered it. I saw clouds rolling in the sky, forming a terrifying vortex. And in the whirlpool, a figure slowly descended. The other party was wearing a green gown, with electric eyes. He looked to be in his early 40s, but there was an air of vicissitudes between his brows. Seeing him, the White Cloud sect master's eyes narrowed slightly. Number 9 on the Great Zhou Heavenly Ranking, the ancestor of the Zanshen sect, Luo Shu. There are various martial Dao lists in Dazhou. For example, the list of famous swords, the list of masters, the list of hidden dragons, etc. But the most valuable list among them is called the Heavenly List. There are only 10 people on the Tianban. They are the 10 strongest martial artists in the Great Zhou dynasty. Each one of them is the top martial lord, even above the martial lord. White Cloud sect, today's matter ends here. Luo Shu said lightly. He, I came to White Cloud sect to cause trouble, broke the sword formation, and hurt my disciple. Now you just say it's over and you want us to forget it. How can such a good thing happen? The Lord of White Cloud sect sneered. Having said that, our Zanshen sect also suffered heavy casualties this time. Many masters of martial arts spirit level and above died. Are you still unwilling to give up? Luo Shu frowned. You asked for this. Master White Cloud sect, for the sake of your promotion to the martial lord, I will talk to you nicely, but if you insist on fighting again, then I will kill White Cloud sect's martial Dao sacred body first. His eyes were like lightning, and he looked at Ling Feng fiercely. There is a killing intent bursting out of him. Hearing this, the White Cloud sect master's pupils shrank slightly, shameless. You, a powerful person on the heavenly ranking, actually want to deal with a young junior. This junior is not an easy person. He can kill the martial king and even the martial lord can be severely injured. Why not if I take action against him? Lord White Cloud sect, please think carefully about it. If I take action to kill him, can you stop me? Quote. Luo Shu said lightly. The master of White Cloud sect refused to give up Ling Feng. Definitely stopping for Ling Feng. In fact, the master of White Cloud sect did not want Ling Feng to be harmed in the slightest, so he could only sigh helplessly, okay, I'll answer. But he wasn't done yet. Not far away, where Piaomiao Peak is located, a magnificent sword intent fills the air, covering the entire White Cloud sect in the blink of an eye. Luo Shu's pupils shrank, and there was a look of horror in his eyes. How is it possible that there is such a sword intent, and there is such a strong person in White Cloud sect? I saw Piaomiao Peak. A figure came with a sword. The person who came was dressed in white, with black hair like a waterfall, and a face as beautiful as a fairy. However, this fairy was holding a wine bottle in her hand, and her eyes were so drunk that even her sword was swaying. People have to worry that she will fall to the ground in the next second. The visitor is none other than Lu Rusi. Drunk Lu Rusi. It's the drunk elder rumored in White Cloud sect. But how come she has such a strong sword intent? Luo Shu's face was full of surprise and uncertainty, and he didn't dare to be careless. Lu Rusi wandered up to the crowd, burped, then hooked Ling Feng's neck, swept across the crowd, and said drunkenly, just now, who said that you wanted to kill my apprentice? Stand out. It's me. Luo Shu looked at Lu Rusi's drunken appearance and couldn't tell the north, south, east, and west, and couldn't help but despise him. In this state, no matter how strong the sword intent is, how much combat power can he have? If you stand and let the opponent hit you, the opponent may not be able to hit you. Oh, it's you. Lu Rusi looked at Luo Shu and rubbed his eyes. What's going on with you guy? Why do you know the doppelganger technique? Doppelganger technique. Everyone was stunned. Looking at Luo Shu, he was obviously standing there alone. But then, everyone understood. Lu Rusi was so drunk that he saw people ghosting. No, is Elder Lu Rusi really so unreliable? Can he hit someone when he is drunk like this? With such a strong sword intent, I thought he was an extremely powerful person. He is strong, but not very reliable. The corners of Ling Feng's mouth also twitched. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have given him so much drunken immortal brew. He actually looked like this after drinking. How can we fight? HMPH, a drunkard wants to succeed. It seems I'm overestimating him. Luo Shu snorted coldly. But suddenly, Lu Rusi in front of him suddenly raised his sword and said drunkenly, "Isn't the doppelganger technique amazing? Look at me, I'll cut them all with one sword." Lifting a sword. Then, between heaven and earth, a sudden violent wind swept across, roaring for thousands of miles. Sword shadows were generated out of thin air in the void. 10 ways, 100 ways, 1,000 ways, 10,000 ways, 100,000 ways. Thousands of sword shadows hang in the sky, like stars all over the sky, flashing with fierce sword light. A vast sword pressure enveloped the world, making people shudder. Luo Shu's expression suddenly changed on the spot. Is this a sword? He roared angrily and pushed Tru Chi to the extreme. But it's too late. Lu Rusi waved the long sword lightly in his hand, and thousands of sword shadows on the sky were like the Milky Way descending from the sky, sweeping towards Luo Shu. The void rumbled. The power of this sword is more than 10 times more terrifying than the Baiyun sword formation. When the sword energy fell, Luo Shu and the elders of the Zanshen sect behind him were unable to dodge and were enveloped by the sword energy. Then, under the erosion of the sword energy, the body was cut into sword marks one after another, and finally, amidst the shrill screams, it turned into blood mist and exploded. It was actually torn into pieces by the sword energy. Belch. Lu Rusi burped again. After the sword energy dissipated, she looked at Ling Feng with drunken eyes, as if she was showing off, and said, "My good disciple, what do you think of my master's sword?" "Very strong." Ling Feng praised sincerely. "Haha, that's necessary." Lu Rusi took another sip of wine. Then his body fell backwards. He was so drunk that he couldn't control his body shape. Ling Feng was startled, his figure flashed, and he quickly caught the other person and held him in his arms. Lu Rusi was drunk and unconscious, snoring slightly in his arms. Ling Feng shook his head helplessly. Obviously he is incredibly strong, but why does he look so unreliable? "Sect Master, I will take Master back to rest first," Ling Feng said to the White Cloud Sect Master. "Okay." The leader of White Cloud Sect and others were still immersed in Lu Rusi's shocking sword, unable to extricate themselves. They came back to their senses after hearing Ling Feng's words. Wait until the other person leaves. They looked at the remaining sword energy in the air and felt the remaining sword intent, with unprecedented wonder on their faces. This sword is the pinnacle of swordsmanship. Ling Feng took Lu Rusi back to Piaomiao Peak. Looking at his master's peaceful sleeping face, he murmured, "It looks pretty good when he's asleep and not making any noise." He put the person on the bed and covered him with a quilt. When he was about to get up and leave, Lu Rusi grabbed his neck. Then he fell down onto the bed, and Lu Rusi held him tightly in her arms and rubbed him like a pillow. The aroma of milk mixed with the smell of alcohol hits your face. Ling Feng blushed. "I go. Master, you won't have after drinking, right?" Ling Feng wanted to struggle to get up, but Lu Rusi pouted, and a pair of jade arms burst out with great strength, hugging him tightly. With King Ling Fengwu's cultivation, he was unable to break free. He accepted his fate. Lying in Master's arms, his face was ashen. "That's all. My innocence in this life will be destroyed in the hands of my master. Let the storm come more violently." But after a while, Lu Rusi just hugged him and didn't do anything extraordinary. This made Ling Feng breathe a sigh of relief. But vaguely, a little disappointed. Depend on. Ling Feng, what are you thinking? Ling Feng cursed himself secretly. Then he looked up at his master's delicate face, his snow-white skin like gelatin, soft pink lips, and high bridge of nose. Looking at it, Ling Feng couldn't help but be in a trance. The next day, Lu Rusi yawned and opened his sleepy eyes. But then, she noticed something was wrong. Etc. Why is there someone in my bed? She subconsciously kicked him under the bed. Ah! Ling Feng cried out in pain, rubbed his buttocks and climbed up. He glanced at Lu Rusi resentfully. Master, why have you turned your back on me? Why are you so angry? Why are you here? Wait, I can't do it. Could it be? Lu Rusi thought of something and panicked. No, no, no. As a teacher, could he attack his apprentice? Even if it is drunken, this is too outrageous. Some memory fragments flashed through Lu Rusi's mind. Before going to bed yesterday, she did see Ling Feng next to her. She didn't know what was going on, so she subconsciously pulled him into bed. Is it true? Lu Rusi held his forehead and said, Disciple, I. She didn't know what to do for a moment. Ling Feng blinked. Master, what's wrong with you? Disciple, it's all my master's fault. I will take responsibility for it. Ah, responsible. Master, are you still awake? Nothing happened to us. I was just held by you as a pillow all night. But having said that, Master, your sleeping state is really bad. My body is almost falling apart. Ling Feng rubbed his shoulders and said with some back pain. Lu Rusi also noticed that Ling Feng's clothes were still in good condition. Obviously, nothing too transgressive happened between the two of them. This made her feel relieved, but she felt a little disappointed inside. How can you comment on Master's sleeping state? Go and get me a basin of water so that I can wash up. Lu Rusi said. Yes. Ling Feng went to fetch water. And Lu Rusi sat on the bed and rubbed his head. It seems that I can't drink so much next time, it's easy to get into trouble. If one day he attacks his apprentice, then she would really follow the beast master. Etc. My apprentice is so beautiful and charming, so it is understandable that I would be attracted to him, right? If he could bear it, he would be worse than a beast. Good. It's not all your own fault. It's all the apprentice's fault. Why do you look so good looking when you have nothing to do? Lu Rusi silently passed half of the blame to Ling Feng. Soon, Ling Feng came in with water and said, I'm going to make breakfast first. Good. Looking at Ling Feng who was busy in the kitchen, the corners of Lu Rusi's mouth raised slightly. You are so virtuous. Alas, it makes me very depressed when I think that such a good apprentice may be given to others at a cheaper price in the future. Lu Rusi muttered. Otherwise, the rich water will not flow to outsiders. Got it yourself. The little devil in Lu Rusi's heart reared its head again. Snapped. Lu Rusi slapped herself and suppressed the little devil in her heart. Lu Rusi, please wake up. In the kitchen, Ling Feng watched his master suddenly slap him in the face, and couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Why was his master so weird today? Still sober from the wine. Sensing Ling Feng's gaze, Lu Rusi said calmly, It's nothing, it's just a mosquito. Oh, Ling Feng didn't think much about it. While cooking, he said excitedly, By the way, Master, your sword strike yesterday was so handsome. Yesterday? What sword? Yesterday you killed Luo Shu, the ancestor of the Zan Shen sect who was 9th on the heavenly ranking, with one sword. Don't you remember? When I think about it, it seems that there is such a thing. Alas, I drank too much yesterday and I have no memory. Lu Rusi said. Ling Feng clicked his tongue and said in surprise, Master, that's number 9 on the heavenly ranking. I was killed by you like that, and you don't have any impression. You must be too ambitious. 9th on the heavenly list. Is it very strong? I can't even take one of Master's swords. Master is the strongest. Haha, that's right. Lu Rusi's eyebrows showed a hint of pride. Killing someone who was number 9 on the heavenly ranking was not something she was happy about, but the praise from her apprentice still made her happy. After breakfast, Lu Rusi, as usual, was idly holding a bottle of drunk fairy wine and going to drink while Ling Feng looked on curiously. It is said that he has never seen his master practicing. I spend my days either drinking or hanging out in White Cloud sect. He looks like a street kid. Then how could she be so strong? He couldn't help it, so he raised his doubts, and Lu Rusi took a sip of wine and said calmly, when you have reached the level of being a teacher, it is no longer useful to practice hard. The most important thing is enlightenment. When you realize it, your cultivation will naturally improve. You still have a lot to learn. Ling Feng nodded, I understand. He has transcendent level understanding. I believe that I will be as powerful as Lu Rusi in the future. Suddenly, he thought of something. I almost forgot. I still have a talent draw that is useless. The system starts the draw. Okay. The system made a sound, and a turntable suddenly appeared in front of Ling Feng. 10 times the power. 10 times speed. Self-healing. Tao follows nature. Time acceleration. Space seal. Glaring at so-and-so for being pregnant. All kinds of talents appear again. What made the corner of Ling Feng's mouth twitch was, what the hell? Why is this talent for glaring at so-and-so pregnant, why is it always there in every draw? System, could it be that you did it on purpose? Talent lottery appears randomly, host please don't doubt it. With you acting like this, it's hard for me not to doubt you. Ling Feng murmured, and then started to draw. The turntable spins rapidly. 10 times the force passed. It went by 10 times faster. The space talent and the time talent that Ling Feng wanted most have also passed. Finally, stay in a small grid next to someone who is staring at someone who is pregnant. Ling Feng broke into a cold sweat. It's so dangerous, I almost get this cheating talent every time. He looked again at the talent he had drawn this time. Drinking makes you stronger. Drinking makes you stronger. Looking at this talent, Ling Feng blinked. Good guy. It turns out that you don't need to practice to become stronger, can you just drink alcohol? The talents rewarded by the system are really powerful and strange. Looking at Lu Rusi who was drinking not far away, Ling Feng approached him and said, Master, please give me a jar of this drunk immortal brew. Hey, you're in the mood today too. Come on, here it is. Lu Rusi was not stingy and took out a jar and handed it to Ling Feng. After all, Ling Feng bought this Zaixian brew. Ling Feng held Zaixianzhang in his arms and opened the wine seal. The aroma of wine immediately hit my nostrils. He held it and took a swig. Suddenly, the wine went down his throat and then into his abdomen, and a warm current spread throughout his body. That's true qi. A sip of drunken immortal brew actually caused his true qi to run on its own and improve rapidly. It is much more efficient than simple hard work. Ling Feng's eyes lit up. This talent is not bad. Master, I will drink with you from now on. You brat, if you don't learn from others, why should you learn this? Lu Rusi curled her lips and patted Ling Feng on the head. But Ling Feng didn't take it seriously. Even if Lu Rusi doesn't give him a drink, he can still buy it himself. Anyway, he has a lot of silver spirit stones on his body. Just when Ling Feng and Lu Rusi were drinking together, Jiyu Linglong and Lang Ningxuang arrived, with excitement on their faces. Junior brother, you are famous. Jiyu Linglong said, holding a Jianggu Express in her hand and opened it. I saw that the Express newspaper was densely packed with pictures and texts. Junior brother, you have become the top of the Great Zhou Hidden Dragon ranking. Jiyu Linglong said excitedly. Ling Feng blinked, number 1 on the Qianlong list. Is it true or false? Dazhou officially released various lists, such as the famous Sword Manual, Grandmaster List, Hidden Dragon List, and the Most Valuable Heavenly List. The Hidden Dragon List is a list of the most talented people in the world. Those on the list are all under the age of 30. It can be said that he is the strong man in the future. Everyone is a proud son of heaven, a dragon and a phoenix among men. The top spot is even more impressive. In every previous Qianlong ranking, if nothing unexpected happened, they would be on the Grandmaster ranking, and then on to the strongest Sky ranking. Not only the Qianlong list, but also the Grandmaster list. Junior brother, you are now at the top of the Qianlong list and 9th on the Grandmaster list. At such a young age, you are on these two lists with less than a week title. It can be said that, junior brother, you are already famous. It's a big week. Jiyu Linglong said. With her excited look, those who didn't know thought she was on the list. Hiccup, isn't it just a small hidden dragon ranking and Grandmaster ranking? Are you so excited? Lu Rusi said with a belch. If someone else said this, Jiyu Linglong and the two girls would still refute a few words. Being on the list is something that countless martial artists yearn for. I don't know how many people can't get there even in their entire lives. Now on 2 lists in a row, isn't it proud enough? But when I think about it, Lou Rusi was drunk yesterday and was still able to kill the 9th person on the heavenly ranking with 1 sword. His terrifying strength was intimidating. The other party is indeed qualified to sneer at the list. Thank you 2 senior sisters for coming to inform me. By the way, I wonder how senior brother Feng and some other disciples are doing now. Ling Feng suddenly thought of Feng Xiaoyao and others who were seriously injured. Ji Yu Linglong said, Senior brother Feng is no longer seriously injured after taking the elixir. He was seriously injured because he was trying to stop the Great Elder. Sure enough, senior brother Feng understands righteousness, but it's a pity that he followed the wrong master. Ling Feng shook his head and sighed. I've long seen that the elder has a small belly, but I didn't expect that he would dare to betray the sect. Tisk, he's quite courageous. Lu Rusi said from the side. Oh, by the way, senior brother, the sect leader has called you to a meeting. Ji Yu Linglong thought of something and said, Meeting, looking for me. Ling Feng was a little surprised. He is just a disciple, shouldn't he ask someone at the elder level for things like meetings? For example, his master. Are you sure you are looking for me, not my master? Well, I'm just looking for you, junior brother. Lu Rusi on the side curled his lips. Don't doubt it, they are just looking for you. They asked me for a meeting, but I have never been there. Ling Feng nodded, no wonder. Then, he flew to the Taishu Peak Hall. Arrived very quickly. In the main hall, several elders had already gathered together. Seeing him coming, several elders smiled and nodded. Xiao Feng is here. Hey, Zhao Feng, I came to you this time. I need your help with something. It shouldn't be a problem for you. Ling Feng asked curiously. I don't know what's going on. It's like this. The Zhan Shen sect came to attack my White Cloud sect this time, but their vitality was severely damaged. Even the ancestor died. Now, the other sects are taking this opportunity to annex the Zhan Shen sect's territory. Naturally, White Cloud sect, cannot lag behind others. No matter what, it is our fault that Zhan Shen sect is in this situation. Therefore, I want you to bring some disciples to seize Zhan Shen sect's resources and territory on behalf of White Cloud sect. The Lord of White Cloud sect smiled. Ling Feng thought about it and thought it made sense. They were the ones who defeated the Zhan Shen sect. It makes no sense, all the resources are taken by others. White Cloud sect must take action. I know, I'll go. Haha, I know that this kid Zhao Feng has his sect in his heart and will definitely help. He can let those people know how powerful Zhao Feng is. Topping the Hidden Dragon ranking, 9th in the Grandmaster ranking, and ranking on 2 rankings in a row, how many people have been able to do this throughout the ages? Zhao Feng, this attack on the Zhan Shen sect is also an opportunity. It's time for people to know your reputation. Take this opportunity to build my reputation as White Cloud sect. The elders looked at Ling Feng. There was deep anticipation in his eyes. Then, the master of White Cloud sect gave Ling Feng a map. The map records several important resource areas of the Zhan Shen sect, which are also places that Ling Feng needs to capture. Ling Feng took the map and went to prepare it. Looking at his leaving figure, the White Cloud sect master and others were thoughtful. Xiao Feng is the future of White Cloud sect. Through this operation, we can not only seize Zhan Shen sect's resources, but also strengthen Ling Feng's prestige and prepare for his future. After returning to Piaomiao Peak, Ling Feng told Lu Rusi the matter. After hearing this, Lu Rusi chuckled and said, so many disciples are looking for you instead of looking for you. Do you know why? Because my cultivation level is high. Ling Feng said. There is no doubt about this. In the entire White Cloud sect, he is the only one among many disciples who has reached the Martial King realm. Still a Martial King who can kill Martial Lord. This is only part of it. There is another reason, and that is that they want to pave the way for you. Lu Rusi said lightly. Paving the road. Paving what kind of road? Of course I want you to become the master of White Cloud sect. Being a sect master, in addition to cultivation, you also need prestige, not only the prestige within the sect, but also the prestige in the outside world. This time I ask you to take action. Once you do it well, your prestige can be greatly enhanced, and by opening up territory for the White Cloud sect, it will be natural for you to become the sect leader in the future. Lu Rusi smiled. Ah, you want me to be the leader? Ling Feng was stunned for a moment. He never had this idea. Are you surprised? I'm shocked. Being a sect leader is so tiring. Ling Feng sighed, somewhat reluctantly. Although I have no interest in being a sect leader. But he still had to complete the tasks issued by the sect. He looked at the map all night. The next day, a dozen disciples were gathered together to capture the Zhanshen sect's territory. Ji Yu Linglong, Lang Ningxuang, Zhang Ruichen and others were also among them, and each of them had excitement on their faces. It's great to be able to do missions with senior brother Ling. Yes, and I have been coming to the sect for such a long time, taking advantage of the sect's favor, and now I finally have a chance to repay the sect. More than a dozen people gathered at the gate of the mountain and talked about it. And at this time, not far away, Ling Feng walked slowly. He was dressed in white, with a 7-star dragon hanging around his waist. He had a slender figure, black hair like a waterfall, sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes. There was a sense of transcendent in his movements. His top-notch charm suddenly made him the center of attention. Some disciples have never had such close contact with him. Seeing him now, I can't help but be dazzled. But what surprised Ji Yu Linglong and Lang Ningxuang was, in addition to Kixing Longyuan, Ling Feng also has a wine gourd on his waist. How? Why does junior brother Ling like drinking? Hiss, could it be that he was led astray by elder Lu Rusi? The two women looked at each other, both worried. The image of Ling Feng being drunk comes to mind. Junior brother with flushed face and drunken eyes. It seems, not bad. Thinking of something, the two women couldn't help but have expectant smiles on their faces. Ling Feng took out a list and called names. After everyone arrived, he smiled slightly and said, let's go. Zhanshen sect. Zhanshen sect has not been having a good time recently. Their vitality was severely damaged due to the attack on White Cloud sect, and they have become a piece of fat in the eyes of many sects. Many sects want to take a bite. Although the Zhanshen sect has an extraordinary foundation, and even if its vitality is severely damaged, it is not comparable to ordinary sects. However, faced with the siege of some first-class and even top sects, it has gradually fallen into a disadvantage, and various territories and resources have been seized. In a mine, the disciples of Zhanshen sect are guarding. This mine is the largest mine in our Zhanshen sect. I'm afraid those guys won't miss it and will come looking for it sooner or later. A disciple said worriedly, but next to him, another young man said calmly, no need to worry, the defense in this mine is extremely tight, and there are 3 elders personally guarding it. Even if King Wu personally takes action, he can't take it down. Whoever dares to come will die. Suddenly, a horn sounded. The young man's face changed slightly. An enemy is coming. Not far away. One after another figures flew by. It is the White Cloud sect disciples led by Ling Feng. Sure enough, it's here. Shoot the arrow. The young man snorted coldly. Immediately afterwards, a crossbow cart was pushed out, with crossbow arrows as thick as an adult's arm on the cart. This is an extremely powerful organ creation. Arrows suddenly flew out like lightning. Every arrow has the power to kill ordinary martial spirits. After Ling Feng saw it, he took the lead, stepped forward, and the golden true qi surged out, and then punched out. The punch was as powerful as a hurricane. Boom, boom, boom. A huge arrow was blown into pieces before it even got close to the crowd. Senior brother is mighty. Behind him, the White Cloud sect disciples were extremely excited. Then, under the cover of Ling Feng, they rushed into the mine and began to occupy it. They have the fiery thunder bead given by Ling Feng, which can be regarded as a life-saving trump card. They are not afraid even if they encounter the strong King Wu. Hateful. Dozens of Zhanshen sect disciples flew into the sky. Come to Ling Feng. This person is the leader, kill him first. Capture the thief first, capture the king. Go. Everyone took action instantly. Sword skills, boxing skills, kick skills. Various attacks locked Ling Feng. It's all in vain. The 7-star Long Yuan on Ling Feng's waist has not yet been unsheathed, but his sword fingers are condensed, and his figure is like a flying fairy, moving in the air, misty and uncertain. Just for a moment, Those Zan Shen sect disciples who took action fell from the air one after another. They didn't even see clearly how Ling Feng took action. Hateful! If you dare to invade the territory of our Zan Shen sect, you are seeking death. At this time, there was a loud shout from deep within the mine. I saw a middle-aged black-haired Tru Chi transformed into wings, soaring into the sky, with a surging aura surging around his body. He was clearly a martial king. It's the third elder. Great, the third elder will definitely take down this person if he takes action. Third elder, come on. The disciples of Zan Shen sect suddenly became excited. And the third elder didn't hesitate. He rushed in front of Ling Feng at an extremely fast speed, and then punched Ling Feng in the head. When Ling Feng saw this, he couldn't hide or dodge. Same punch, but it is. The void roared, and the mountains and rivers shook. Fighting in troubled times, the terrifying fist shadow, accompanied by the roar of the 10 elephants, shook the world. The third elder withstood the blow forcefully, and his body exploded with a bang, and a cloud of blood mist exploded in the air. He was actually died suddenly on the spot. Killed a top martial arts king with one punch. This scene left the remaining Zan Shen sect disciples stunned. How is this possible? What's the origin of this guy? Everyone was puzzled, but they also know that the situation is over. Under the leadership of Ling Feng, the Zan Shen sect disciples ran away and died, and this mine was captured by them almost effortlessly. Ding! The host leads the White Cloud sect disciples, seizes the mineral veins, opens up territory for the sect, and rewards the host with a Martial Master Cultivation card. Closing square bracket. Martial Lord Cultivation card. Is it a card that can turn me into a Martial Lord in one breath? Ling Feng asked with his eyes lit up. The host is so smart, that's right. Closing square bracket. Ling Feng's mouth twitched. This name can be thought of casually. But then he took out the card and crushed it. Soon, a majestic Tru Chi burst out from his body, and his cultivation level began to soar from the Martial King realm. King Wu's 3rd level, 4th level, 5th level. Kokono. Boom. As if a certain shackles were broken, Ling Feng Tru Chi swept out, setting off a storm in place, and stepped into the Martial Master level. Congratulations, Master. Congratulations, Master. Qingluan on Ling Feng's shoulder congratulated. The disciples not far away also noticed the changes in Ling Feng. Everyone was amazed. What a strong pressure. Could it be that senior brother has made a breakthrough? Definitely. As expected of a senior brother, he can break through casually. Martial Dao's sacred body is just so unreasonable. Is Martial Dao's sacred body really that exaggerated? Everyone was shocked by Ling Feng's breakthrough. But then, they began to rectify the mineral vein and began to collect resources. But this time, a group of people flew in not far away. They looked at the mineral veins that had been seized, and their expressions darkened slightly. Someone is actually one step ahead of us. Hateful. Brother, what should we do now? Someone looked at the leader, a man in black, with flying black hair and a stern look on his brows. He said coldly, "We are here to seize this mine. Since others have taken it first, we will seize it back." Quote. Finished. His figure fell to the ground like a meteor, landing on the mineral vein. The moment it landed, billowing smoke and dust kicked up. I just heard him yelling domineeringly, "I, Tianwu sect, want this mineral vein. The rest of the people, please leave quickly, otherwise don't blame me, Li Tianxuan, for being ruthless." Tianwuman, Li Tianxuan. Everyone was stunned when they heard the name. Ling Feng asked curiously from the side, "Is this person very famous?" "Junior brother, you don't know something. He is the first person to take office on the Hidden Dragon ranking." Lang Ningxuang said lightly. Ling Feng suddenly realized that the name was quite big. So who is the current number 1 on the Qianlong list? Of course it's him. Li Tianxuan looked at the people in front of him and realized that they were from White Cloud sect and said coldly, "White Cloud sect, interesting. I heard that you recently released a Martial Dao sacred body Ling Feng. Is he here? Let him come out and meet me. A battle." As the previous leader of the Hidden Dragon ranking, Li Tianxuan was proud of himself. Originally, he maintained the top spot on the Hidden Dragon ranking and then entered the Grandmaster ranking. Unexpectedly, suddenly a Ling Feng appeared, taking away his top spot on the Hidden Dragon ranking. He also made it to the Grandmaster list that he dreamed of. This of course made him extremely unhappy. When everyone heard his words, they all looked at Ling Feng, and Ling Feng was also stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that the other party was so good that he wanted to challenge him. However, he is not afraid. Walked out slowly. You want to challenge me? Oh, you are Ling Feng. Yes, you are younger than the rumors say. Are you worthy of being ranked first on the Hidden Dragon ranking? And ninth on the Grandmaster ranking? The people who rank the rankings are getting more and more tasteless. Li Tianxuan snorted coldly, but when the people from the Tianwu sect behind him saw Ling Feng, their eyes couldn't help but light up, and they started talking quietly. This man is Ling Feng, he's so handsome. The talent of an immortal is nothing more than this. Tisk, it's a pity that Dazhou doesn't have a good looks list. Otherwise, I would definitely vote for him. This face is simply a perfect creation of God. The voices of the people behind him reached Li Tianxuan's ears. His face darkened, and he turned around and glanced at everyone coldly. Everyone immediately shut up and did not dare to say anything more. Li Tianxuan stared at Ling Feng and sneered, "You do have a good face. Isn't it because of your face that you became the top of the Hidden Dragon ranking? Hey, do you want to give it a try?" Ling Feng smiled lightly and ignored the other party's sarcasm. "Okay, anyway, we have to decide on this mine, so let's defeat you and let the whole Zhou dynasty know who is at the top of the Hidden Dragon list." After saying that, he took a step forward and rushed towards Ling Feng. Hold with 5 fingers. A crimson glow spurted out from his fist. Like a burning fire, Ling Feng stood still and let the fists hit him. Boom! The next moment, the fist seemed to hit an indestructible barrier, making a loud noise. I saw Ling Feng's protective body, true qi, condensing on its own. Blocked Li Tianxuan's fist. How come? Li Tianxuan's expression changed slightly. He knew in his heart that if Ling Feng was ranked at the top of the Qianlong list, he must have a few brushes in his hands, so he did not hold back with his punch and exploded with all his strength. But with a full punch, he couldn't even break through the opponent's protective true qi. This is too exaggerated. Would you like to use less force? Ling Feng glanced at Li Tianxuan and smiled lightly. Ridicule. This is absolutely a travesty. Li Tianxuan immediately became furious and activated true qi to the extreme, and streams of flames spurted out from the pores all over his body. The fire burned wildly, making him look like a supreme Vulcan. Skyfire martial body, activate. This Li Tianxuan also has a terrifying physique. When Lang Ningxuang, Jiyu Linglong and others saw this, their eyes narrowed slightly. I didn't expect it to be the heavenly fire martial body. It is said that the true qi who cultivated this kind of martial body is extremely domineering. It has the terrifying power to burn all things, no worse than the martial Dao sacred body. This Li Tianxuan is worthy of being the top Qianlong leader in the past. It's a pity that he met junior brother Ling. Although everyone was surprised. But he still has great confidence in Ling Feng. 8 Desolate Gods Fire Fist. Li Tianxuan shouted low and punched out. The terrifying fist light mixed with endless fire swept across the world, turning flowers, plants and trees into ashes within a few miles. Even the ores on the ground have a tendency to melt. The fist light struck Ling Feng's protective body true qi. There was a roar, and the mountains and rivers shook. But then, everyone saw Ling Feng standing there, still as motionless as a mountain. The endless blazing fire did not even hurt a hair on his face. He smiled faintly and said, "Your full strength can only be like this." The next moment, his body shook slightly. True qi is like a roaring wave. The endless fire disappeared immediately. Li Tianxuan received an unprecedented impact and flew backwards on the spot, vomiting blood, and the fire all over his body also dissipated. How is it possible? You can injure me so badly just by relying on the body protection true qi. Your cultivation level is that of a martial master. Wu Zun, that is the most powerful person in the great Zhou dynasty. Has the strength to hit the top list. Li Tianxuan's current cultivation level is only half step to the martial king. He is still far away from the martial lord and is no match for him at all. Impossible. How could there be a monster like you in the world? Li Tianxuan's shawl was spread out, his face full of disbelief. It was obviously an unprecedented blow. I, White Cloud Sect, want this mineral vein, please leave. Ling Feng said lightly. After saying that, he turned around and wanted to find a place to familiarize himself with his own power. But this time, Ji Yu Linglong, Lang Ningxuang and others were shocked. Junior brother, be careful. Only behind him. The defeated Li Tianxuan suddenly rose up, took out a golden cone in his hand and threw it at Ling Feng. The cone erupted with a terrifying aura wave. Obviously a very powerful hidden weapon. Ling Feng, try the power of the Vulcan cone. Cone of Vulcan, number 9 on the Great Weekly Strange Soldiers list. This object contains strong power of fire. When activated by martial artist Tru Chi, it can explode with power comparable to that of a top martial artist. Aware of the danger behind him, Ling Feng's eyes narrowed. When he turned around, the 7-star Longyuan had already been unsheathed and collided with the Vulcan cone. Boom! The sound of gold and iron resounded loudly. The next second, the Vulcan cone was knocked away. The sharp and cold sword light continued to magnify in Li Tianxuan's wide eyes, and then the sword light directly tore his neck. SLA. Separation of flesh and blood. Li Tianxuan's head was thrown high and fell to the ground. The former number 1 on the hidden dragon list was instantly killed with a sword. Ling Feng's cold gaze swept over everyone in the Tianwu sect. It turns out that sneak attacks from behind are the Tianwu sect style. This is really a lesson. A Tianwu sect disciple walked out bravely and said, Master Ling, please calm down. This is Li Tianxuan's behavior and has nothing to do with our Tianwu sect. We are also very shameless about this kind of sneak attack. We don't want this mineral vein anymore. Let's leave now. After saying that, the man picked up Li Tianxuan's body and left. But Ling Feng snorted coldly, do you want to leave now? Master Ling, what do you want? Keep all the valuable things you have as an apology to me. Ling Feng said coldly. Everyone did not dare to disobey and took off their storage rings one after another. In their hearts, they had already cursed Li Tianxuan bloody for the sneak attack from behind. Depend on. You are not as skilled as others, but you still carry out sneak attacks. The majestic Qianlong list genius, you are so shameless. Even if you are shameless, you still have to drag them into the water. It's really unlucky to have such a senior brother in the stall. Congratulations to the host for killing Li Tianxuan and becoming the veritable leader of the Hidden Dragon. He shocked the people of Tianwu sect and was rewarded with emperor-level skills and the immortal King Dharmakaya. Closing square bracket. Ling Feng was stunned for a moment after hearing the system prompt. Here comes another book of emperor-level exercises. Why does he feel that the emperor-level skills are like cabbage in his place, one after another? Get out. Looking at the Tianwu disciples in front of him, he said calmly. As if they were granted amnesty, everyone quickly took Li Tianxuan's body and left, fearing that Ling Feng would regret it. Junior brother, you are so powerful. The top of the hidden dragon ranking is in front of you, but you can't even make a single move. Yeah, really strong. That's natural. Li Tianxuan, he is just a thing of the past. The future belongs to senior brother Ling Feng. White Cloud sect. Everyone looked at Ling Feng with joy and admiration in their eyes. Ling Feng smiled slightly and asked everyone to put away all the storage rings left by the Tianwoman. Not far away. The Tianwu sect members quickly left with Li Tianxuan's body. Recalling the scene where Ling Feng killed Li Tianxuan with one sword, they looked frightened. It's too strong. That Ling Feng is simply too strong. Yes, how did he practice? He is obviously younger than us. Everyone was puzzled. At this time, a group of people flew over not far away from them. The leader of them was a white-haired old man. The other party looked at the panic-looking people and frowned. Didn't you go to seize the mineral vein? What's going on? Back to the elder, this. One disciple hesitated and did not dare to speak. But the white-haired elder discovered Li Tianxuan's body. Takong shrank suddenly, and took a breath of cold air. This is Li Tianxuan. What happened? The white-haired elder roared angrily, his eyes about to burst. You know, Li Tianxuan was the top of the Hidden Dragon ranking list last time. He has unlimited potential for Tianwu sect, and he may even be the genius to take over as the leader of the sect in the future. But now, he is dead. The blow to Tianwu sect is really not small. We encountered the White Cloud sect. A Tianwu sect disciple explained what happened. After listening to this, the white-haired elder's face was so gloomy that he was about to drip with tears. Okay, what a Ling Feng. What a leader on the Hidden Dragon ranking. If he kills my Tianwu sect's genius, does he really think that my Tianwu sect has no one? An extremely domineering aura gradually erupted from his body. True Qi is like a hurricane, surrounding the whole body. When many Tianwu sect disciples saw this, their pupils shrank slightly. Those with low cultivation were directly pressed to the ground by this coercion, unable to move. This true Qi pressure is so powerful. You are worthy of being a great elder. Number 1 on the Grandmaster list is no joke. Tianwuman, Zhang Tianming, top of the Great Zhou Grandmaster list. Known as the number 1 person on the heavenly ranking, his cultivation level is so high that he has already advanced to the realm of martial lord. Let me go and find out what Ling Feng, who is number 1 on the Hidden Dragon ranking and 9th on the Grandmaster ranking, is really capable of. Zhang Tianming smiled coldly, then took a step forward. In the blink of an eye, he was already several miles away. And the other side, within the mineral vein, Ling Feng and others are collecting resources here. When the collection was almost complete, they planned to go to the next location. But at this time, a magnificent wave of true Qi swept from not far away, causing trees to break and wild sand to fly wherever it passed. Everyone behind Ling Feng felt unprecedented pressure. Ling Feng narrowed his eyes slightly and took a step forward. True Qi came out through his body and turned into an invisible shield to protect everyone. This aura seems to come from a bad person. Ling Feng, come and pay for my life for my Tianwu sect, Li Tianxuan. With a loud shout, a white figure appeared in front of Ling Feng. Ling Feng and others suddenly realized. So that's it, after beating the little one, the old one came. Ling Feng curled his lips and said, what a trick. After I kill this old man, the Tianwu sect will all come out in force. You don't have any courage at all, why don't you just kill Li Tianxuan? Ji Yu Linglong and others' mouths twitched slightly at the side. That's an ordinary disciple. He was the top 1 on the Hidden Dragon list in the past, and could even be said to be the future leader of the Tianwu sect. If you kill someone's future sect leader, how can someone let it go? Junior brother, this aura is not trivial. In my opinion, this person should be Zhang Tianming, who is at the top of the Grandmaster list. You must be careful. Zhang Ruochen said worriedly from the side. Everyone's faces were filled with solemnity when they heard the words, top of the list of masters. The Grandmaster ranks first, this is the strongest person under the heavenly ranking. As far as they know, although Ling Feng is also on the Grandmaster list, he is only 9th. Is he really Zhang Tianming's opponent? Grandmaster ranking first is a bit interesting. Ling Feng touched his chin with amusement on his face. If it had been before, he might have been wary, but it was different now. He had advanced to the realm of martial lord. Plus all kinds of trump cards. He is not afraid even if the strong ones from the Tianbang come. Senior Zhang, Li Tianxuan intended to sneak attack on my junior brother. Such behavior is extremely despicable. It is excusable to be killed. As the top of the Grandmaster list, if you attack a junior because of this, it will be beneath your status. Zhang Ruochen stood up and said, try to calm down the dispute. But Zhang Tianming's expression remained indifferent, and he even raised his hand to shoot a true Qi. Boom! The true Qi was like a flood, blasting towards Zhang Ruochen with irresistible force. It was impossible for him who was only in the martial spirit realm to block it, and his expression suddenly changed. In times of crisis, Ling Feng stepped forward and stood in front of the opponent. He raised his hand to knock true Qi away and said coldly, if you want to touch my White Cloud sect, you must ask me first. Well, today, I will send you to hell together and be buried with Li Tianxuan. Zhang Tianming didn't say much. With a low roar, true Qi erupted, like an endless wind, sweeping towards Ling Feng and everyone. Facing this kind of power, Zhang Ruochen and others could not stop him. Get behind me, Ling Feng said calmly, then he clenched his 5 fingers and punched out, using the chaos fist, the void made a violent roar. In an instant, the hurricane dissipates. The ground has sunk deeply due to this impact, forming a huge hole dozens of feet tall. Good boy, you do have some skills. Come again. Zhang Tianming was a little surprised. He didn't expect Ling Feng to be able to block his attack. Immediately afterwards, he grabbed hold of a black and red sword in the void with his 5 fingers. There was a sharp edge on the sword, and a chilling evil aura. A phantom of a tiger appeared vaguely, roaring at everyone. This is the 13th tiger kill in the famous sword manual. Zhang Ruochen immediately recognized the origin of the sword. When Ling Feng heard this, he also pulled out the Qixing Longyuan from his waist. Suddenly, the sword energy soars to the sky, and the sword power shakes the sky. The sound of the dragon's roar echoed in all directions, faintly suppressing the sword power of the tiger-killing sword. Boy, your 7-star dragon abyss is indeed better than mine, but unfortunately, I am number 1 on the Grandmaster list. And you are only number 9. Today, I will kill you and seize the 7 stars Long Yuan. Consider it as your apology for killing Li Tianxuan. Zhang Tianming's body exuded a strong murderous aura, which echoed with the tiger-killing sword in his hand, and a cold pressure gradually spread out. After Ling Feng felt this pressure, instead of being frightened, on the contrary, a hint of excitement appeared on his face. Come on, let me see how much you weigh. When everyone saw this, they secretly smacked their lips. This is a strong man with a venerable realm. Yeah, why do I see junior brother Ling looking so excited? Tisk, he doesn't seem scared at all. As expected of my junior brother. Tell me, can he behead this martial lord? Others, I would definitely say it's impossible. After all, Tianming is number 1 on the Grandmaster ranking. Unless it's a strong person on the heaven ranking, it's absolutely impossible. But if it's junior brother Ling, maybe it's really possible. Quote. Everyone looked at Ling Feng with expectation in their eyes. If Ling Feng can really kill Wu Zun, then he is number 1 on the Grandmaster list. No, you can even be on the top of the list. Such a young strong man on the heavenly list is rare in the entire Great Zhou dynasty. Good boy, you have some courage, but you are looking for death. Zhang Tianming snorted coldly, and the tiger-killing sword in his hand had already been slashed out. A cold sword light turned into the shadow of the tiger, and it lunged forward with a roar. The terrifying power makes people shudder. But Ling Feng refused to retreat. Martial Dao sacred body opened, golden true qi surged out of his body, and he also slashed out with a sword. Just like an immortal guiding the way, the shadow of the sword is sharp and magnificent. The phantom of the tiger was torn apart by a sword. Zhang Tianming took action again, and this time, traces of bloody true qi appeared faintly on his body, and his eyes were also stained with blood. Behind him, true qi circulated, interweaving a shadow of a sea of blood. Martial Dao's sacred body is indeed extraordinary. But do you think you are the only one with a martial body? Blood sea sacred body. Open. Sea of blood sacred body. A powerful physique specifically designed to increase attack power. It is also Zhang Tianming's biggest reliance on becoming number 1 on the Grandmaster list. The moment the blood sea sacred body was turned on, there was a sense of coldness all over his true qi, and the surroundings seemed to turn into a sea of blood hell, with the sound of howling souls constantly heard. Zhang Tianming didn't hesitate and took action with all his strength. This sea of blood intertwined by true qi not only enveloped Ling Feng. It completely enveloped Ji Yu Linglong, Langning Shuang, Zhang Ruochen and others. We want to kill everyone in White Cloud sect together here. Ling Feng knew in his heart that the longer it was delayed, the worse it would be. He's okay. But Ji Yu Linglong and others didn't have his level of cultivation, so they couldn't last long in this sea of blood. Thinking of this, he had already made a decision in his heart. Originally I wanted to play with you for a while longer, but now it seems that we can only decide quickly. Ling Feng said indifferently. A quick victory. Haha, this is just a joke. You can't protect yourself. What skills can you use to win a quick victory? Zhang Tianming said disdainfully. In his opinion, Ling Feng and others are already in his possession. Life and death are just a matter of his thoughts. Oh, you will soon see how capable I am. Ling Feng smiled lightly, still looking confident and calm. Zhang Tianming frowned and said, you are trying to be mysterious and you will die. He swung the tiger-killing sword in his hand. Combined with the bloody true qi from all directions, it looks like a vast ocean of blood shrouding it. The sword power contained in it is sinister and domineering. Of the 10 levels of sword power, Tianming had at least comprehended 7 or 8 levels. Boom. The next moment, Ling Feng was shrouded in the boundless bloody true qi and disappeared. Junior brother. When Ji Yu Linglong and others saw this, their expressions changed slightly and they quickly took action. Various true qi were fired one after another, blasting towards Jiang Tianming, but to no avail. Their attacks couldn't even break through the opponent's protective true qi. Wu Venerable Realm is much stronger than them. Not to mention, Jiang Tianming is not an ordinary martial lord. What are you so anxious about? Now, it's your turn to die. Jiang Tianming said lightly. Raising his hands high, the bloody true qi roared and was about to blast out. But at this moment, the sea of blood he transformed suddenly began to vibrate crazily. What happened? Jiang Tianming's expression changed slightly. The next moment, I saw streams of bright golden light erupting from the place where Ling Feng was standing, and an extremely holy and magnificent golden true qi spread out. Wherever true qi went, the sea of blood roared and exploded. In the bloody ocean, an extremely tall figure stood up slowly, 100 feet tall, exuding majestic domineering power. A pair of golden eyes seemed to be burning with golden divine fire. Majesty, indifference, scornfulness. It's like the immortal king has arrived. Disdainful of heaven and earth. The key is, this immortal king-like figure looks exactly like Ling Feng. He's not dead yet. And, this, what kind of technique is this? It can actually create such a terrifying giant vision. What is his origin? Jiang Tianming had disbelief in his eyes. If you look carefully, there is a hint of, deep in his eyes, fear. As the top one on the Grandmaster list, he actually felt fearful. Feeling intimidated by a young junior. This was something he had never thought of before. This is the first time I have used this immortal king Dharmakaya. You are honored to be the first opponent of this Dharma body. Ling Feng said indifferently. The sound was like rolling thunder, resounding throughout the heaven and earth. Even people dozens or hundreds of miles away can hear it clearly. Looking at the figure filled with endless divine light, some people couldn't help but kneel on the ground, shouting that the gods are coming. Immortal King Dharmakaya. I have never heard of a technique, but judging from its power, it is at least an emperor-level technique. This white cloud sect actually has an emperor-level technique. Asshole. Jiang Tianming's palms trembled slightly. But the next moment, he suppressed the fear in his heart, took out pills one by one, swallowed them in his stomach, and then activated some kind of secret technique. It makes its own strength surge by several %, infinitely approaching the limit of Wu Zun. Then, he shouted low, holding the tiger-killing sword tightly in his hand. The man and the sword seemed to merge into one, turning into a bloody sword light and slashing out angrily. Even if he is the immortal king, I will kill him today. Jiang Tianming roared. It's a pity that you can't do it. Ling Feng spoke indifferently, slowly raised his palm, and pressed it down with one palm. Boom. For a moment, the void began to violently turbulence. The huge palm blasted out like a mountain and hit Jiang Tianming hard, completely shattering the bloody sword light on his body. Jiang Tianming flew backwards at a faster speed. Hit the mine. The mine collapsed directly, forming a huge pit. Smoke and dust are billowing. Deep in the pit, Jiang Tianming was lying on the ground covered in blood, his muscles, bones, flesh, and internal organs almost turned into a mass of paste. Number 1 on the Grandmaster list. Fall. Ling Feng was also quite surprised. He didn't expect to kill the opponent with one slap. The power of the immortal king's body was even more powerful than he thought. Ji Yu Linglong, Lang Ningxuang and others all looked at this scene blankly. Everything that happened today had a huge impact on them. My own junior brother first killed the previous leader of the Hidden Dragon ranking with one sword. Now another slap kills the number 1 on the Grandmaster list. This fighting power is so shocking. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.